On this episode of the Star Wars Time Show, Nick returns from his firing to help Matt guide you through a litany of new Star Wars topics worth knowing about. These include 11 fun facts from Luke's appearance in The Mandalorian, Vader art leaks from the Kenobi series, deleted scenes from Mando S2, Robert Rodriguez's Book of Boba Fett hype, a curious Mandalorian gameplay video, 2 new LEGO Star Wars game updates, and a few new collectibles to think about. If you're not asleep after all that, you can catch the fan segment, which will feature the return of the Question of the Week responses, and the latest round of Awesome in the Top 5 Star Wars Fan Artist Features of the Week. Punch it, Chewie!
Hey now everybody, how's it going, and welcome back to the Star Wars Time Show. And look who decided to join us today. You know, he was tired of waiting in the unemployment line, and I decided to let him come back and join the show. So Nick is back. He's back from his little trip where he was, becoming one with Mother Nature in more ways than one. So welcome back to the show, young Nick. How's it going?
It's going all right. For those of you who know where I'm from, Louisiana has just been hit by a really big hurricane, and my family is in the midst of all that. So stressful times. I know that Greg reached out to me on Facebook asking how everything was. So the long and short of it is they don't have power. They're not going to have power for 3 weeks. They don't have any clean water. There's some light damage to the house, but luckily nothing catastrophic. And they're basically relying on gas generators to keep everything up and running in the household. So hopefully they're able to get gas to keep that going. But yeah, I mean, that's the main thing that's on my mind right now is that everything going down in Louisiana, hoping that everybody's safe that's over there. And having lived through one of similar catastrophic results, I definitely understand how the people in that area are feeling right now and what everybody's going through. So it's a weird time. I mean, that being said, my trip to Denver was really fun. Got to visit the Rocky Mountains, did a hike in there, got to just see the city of Denver. Did a lot of legal drugs in the state of Colorado. So
the best kind of drugs. It was a good time.
Yeah, it was. When you can go right to the corner store and say like, "Hey, I'd like a pack of sativa gummies, and then why don't you go get me some pre-rolled joints too?" And they're like, "All right, here you go. Pack it up in a nice little bag." It's pretty good.
Can you buy it like right in a gas station at this point in time in Colorado, or do you still have to go to a dispensary?
I think it's still dispensary. So we had one. We stayed in an Airbnb, and there was one within like walking distance of our Airbnb. So that was super super convenient. I think we went twice just to. Like we went one time before all of our friends were there, and then we went again once everybody was there just to have them go. And it was really cool. We went to 2 different ones. One of them was kind of like, it was like a shitty liquor store kind of. You walk in, you give them your ID. I mean, the way that it works for all of them is you walk in, you give them your ID, they buzz you into the back. So the first one we went to was like seedy. It was just kind of, it looked like a normal
so
kind of
it's still a fucking shady process, even though Colorado has kind of been leading the charge on decriminalization and not making you feel like a scumbag because you want to eat something that came from Mother Earth when we can go buy poison that man has infused with ingredients from Mother Earth. But that's okay. Like literally, I mean, think about it, people. Alcohol is not real. You cannot go plant a beer tree. You can't plant a vodka tree. I mean, I guess you could dig up some potatoes and let them rot, and, like if you're in Russia, but alcohol is not something that organically grows in the earth. You actually have to have science take place to create it, and it is a fucking poison. It's poison, for those of you that don't understand big words. That can kill you. Cigarettes are literally, you're better off sticking your car tailpipe in your mouth. But all that shit, you know, fucking little kids can go by. But still, even where it's been legal for years, you know, Nick's being made to feel like a criminal, getting buzzed in. Like, there's probably armed guards there, right? There were
armed security officers. They also, since they are not allowed to do business with banks, you can't use a credit card. So you can use a debit card, but you have to, like, they have to like apply different charges to it. So I think it's like a $3 fee to use your debit card in order to buy stuff from there. But I mean, overall, the second dispensary we went to was super nice. I mean, it was like walking into an Apple Genius bar.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm expecting in Colorado. You know, stuff like Toys R Us, but for drug addicts.
Yeah, that's how the second one was. The first one was like it was like one of those weird head shops you walk into, and it's like there's like fucking like black light posters on the wall, and like people just it just seemed weird, and it was like the guy there was just like super unhelpful. But the second one was awesome. I mean, it was like the people over there were like excited to talk to you about all of their products. And
sometimes like, I've heard like the weed baristas almost are too in the know, too helpful when it comes to going to one of these legal places, right? Because, you know, I mean, they're probably the hardcore 420 friendly types, which I love these type of people, you know, like, peace and love, that type of stuff.
They asked us,
but sometimes it's like, I just want some fucking drugs, man. I don't care what the name is or what it's going to do or what you did with it. Just come on.
Yeah, they basically, so for the second one, they asked us, they were like, so what is your like level of experience with marijuana? And they said, they basically are like, oh, okay, you guys know what you're talking about. You can go, like, this person over here will help you. And then you guys are new. Okay, this person over here will help you.
Right,
and then
so you know the lingo. Like you get put in the lingo line, right? You just like, I want some of that indica. I want to splash a hybrid, maybe sativa, but not too heavy. You know, I want some CBDs in there too.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a cool experience, and I mean, I would definitely go to Denver again. I mean, Denver. Well, first off, if you've never been there, it's just like a very cool city, a lot to do. In summertime, the weather's beautiful. It's like 75 to 85 degrees every day. And then, you know, there's just a lot to do in the city itself, a lot to see. We went to a Colorado Rockies game, which I don't give a shit about baseball, but it was like the tickets were $9. So it's like, whatever. I'll
something to do. I mean, when we went to Celebration, remember we went to a freezing cold Cubs game like a bunch of assholes, and I think my kid was
snowing.
Hell, my kid would have just turned 3 years old, and I'm taking her to a Cubs game in freezing rain snow. Yeah, with a bunch of other Star Wars fan jerk offs. So go, Dad. So
I would definitely recommend it for those of you who are fans of the outdoors. I think Denver's a fun place to go because you can go to the Rockies, you can go to Red Rocks and stuff like that. Also, if you like smoking weed, obviously go there because it's all legal. You can just walk right into the weed shop, pick up your weed, and then leave.
They get the fungus in there yet? I know at one point in time they had that on the bill, but I think it got rejected. Is it there? I mean, could you get shrooms in stores?
No, not from the ones that I went to. There was none. Yeah, there was none there, but I don't know if there's like other shops that are out there.
Hey, Kingdom of Weird. There's too many stories like that now, man. I mean, it's like, what else can we say about the anti-vaxxers at this point in time? I mean, it's I mean, the fact that a lot of these bozos are now ending up dying in hospitals and willing to take upwards of 5 experimental treatments. Livestock dewormer, that's something we do over here in the States now for COVID. All that shit's okay, but a vaccine that is proven to be effective and is now fully authorized, that's still That's taboo. That's the government trying to chip you. I give up. I don't have a lot of the piss and vinegar in me today. We had a little bit of a couples fight before we went live on the air, so I'm trying to regain some of my fire for the show. But Nick came in and was like, listen, motherfucker, we talk too much. We need to stop talking so much. And he's not wrong, but it got into a little bit of a pissing match. To the point coming on the show, I was like, yeah, fuck it. I don't even feel like doing it right now. But hey, we'll get there. I'll get over it. I'm kind of I'm a sensitive person. You guys know this. I'm a fucking freak. So we'll get there. Yeah, natural selection. I mean, dude, there's so much I want to say on the COVID stuff. I'm just going to refrain. I know it's probably part of the reason why we've lost such a following, which is fine. We don't need those types around here anyways. But I mean, there's nothing else to say. You anti-vaxxers have no ammunition left. You're just a bunch of fucking retards. There, I'll stop it. I'll stop. I can tell. One of these days I'm going to get in trouble. So we're talking Star Wars. That's it. No fucking COVID nonsense. None of this bullshit. All right. Hey now. That's right, Joe. Hey fucking now, pal. Welcome to the Star Wars Time Show. Hopefully the new and improved, more efficient Star Wars Time Show. So let's I guess get right into it. I don't even know if I have anything that I need to discuss besides wasting time watching shows. Free Guy is a good movie. Reminiscence is a good movie. Free Guy actually has some legit Star Wars stuff in it. And the one moment, I don't think this is a spoiler, but there's a lightsaber Easter egg. Yeah. And Nick, I went with Charlie. I was like, fuck it. Last week was my last week off. I've been doing nothing but getting up and waiting to go pick up my kid from school. It was not a great break. All right. Whatever. I'm a dad. You got to do what you got to do. But it's kind of hard to get something going when, within 4 hours, you got to go pick up a little kid. So Thursday, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to a fucking movie. So I feel like I did something on my break that wasn't just sitting in the basement pretending that StarWarsTime.net is something that people care about. So we go see Free Guy, a movie I know that she is probably not going to be 100% sold on because she doesn't fucking game. She doesn't understand the lingo, what it means to be an NPC, whatever. Well, Joe, that's why you're a better dad. You take your kids to cartoons. I take my kids to PG-13 movies. But anyways, during this lightsaber Easter egg moment, and this is what I think made the trip for myself as a dad and probably helped Charlie at least appreciate it a bit more. But when he busts out that lightsaber, she looked at me like, it's our thing, dude. It's the Star Wars thing. Now I fucking know something about this movie. It's something finally resonates with me, as it's about to end. I mean, this was a movie. It is a good movie. Tons of great gaming references, good jokes, a lot of pop culture shit. Taika is literally off his fucking rocker. I don't even think he read the script. I think he just came in and did whatever the fuck he felt like it.
It felt like it, yeah.
Right? I mean, he's crazy. And he even brought in a Star Wars reference, but it was a nice little moment between father and daughter when the lightsaber came out. But not much going on. I moved on to Mass Effect 2, and my God, Jesus, I forgot how good that game is, and it looks damn near perfect in the Legendary Edition reskin of the game. So, Nick, the best one. When I told Nick I was playing through these, he's like, "Oh, you fucking loser! Mass Effect 1 sucked anyways." I'm like, "It didn't suck. It was the first game. It can't suck that bad." He's like, "Yeah, but Mass Effect 2 is the only good one." And he's probably right. I mean, playing Mass Effect 2 again, it's like, Jesus, it really was such an improvement over the original. Although I'm never going to be, that'd be like saying Star Wars sucks. You can't do it. The first of any. The jumping off point of any trilogy or long-lasting IP, it may years down the road look dirty, but that's what got us into it. So, you can't disrespect shit like that. Yeah,
usually the second ones are the best, except for in the sequel trilogy and the prequel trilogy. right?
Yeah, no, we got
the second movies in those two.
Yeah, we got to pile on the sequel trilogy last week with Jax when he was on the show. He as a pretty stable guy, I mean, he definitely right off the bat was like, I fucking walked out of TLJ. I hated it and blah blah. I was like, all right, so
I heard
good,
I heard that.
Good to know.
Okay,
but yeah,
Jax is just loading up, giving them the real
We'll probably
thing.
be leaving that era alone today. I don't think we have anything that touches there. Who knows? Maybe we'll get a tangent going. But like Nick said, we gotta stop doing these long fucking shows because he's right. No one listens anyway. So let's try to clean things up. We'll get right into the Star Wars talk, my friends. I can't promise that I'm not going to go off script once we get talking. But the first thing we want to touch on is something that I would assume all good Star Wars fans have checked out by now. And that is the Disney Gallery, The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 2 special that was 100% made to kind of give fans an inside look, a behind-the-scenes look, a B-roll look at the processes and kind of what it took to get Luke Skywalker into The Mandalorian. And it was fantastic. I mean, we knew that it was going to be great, but I was surprised, Nick, at how many enlightening little anecdotes that were delivered or just featured in this documentary. So, like all losers do, like myself, to think people actually care what they think about Star Wars, I cooked up a little video called 11 Fun Facts about Luke Skywalker's appearance in The Mandalorian. And some of these, none of us knew this shit. The first one, I was like, wow, look at this. Look at these guys. Aren't they tricky? But all along, they really wanted to protect this secret. They knew Luke was coming in The Mandalorian before season 1 even came out. So we're talking years worth of protection here. So the first fun fact, Nick, that, kind of stood out was that in the script, Luke was Plo Koon.
Yeah,
and as Filoni himself kind of says in the documentary, he's like, listen, I mean, everyone knows Plo Koon is like my guy. I mean, if I could do an F, marry, kill with Jedi, he's marrying Plo Koon, right? I mean, he fucking loves the guy. That's his favorite Jedi. So I thought it was interesting that they decided to use Plo as the MacGuffin or the throw off here to kind of keep people, even in Lucasfilm, off of the scent of the true hero that would show up for Grogu and Luke.
It's so wild that he chose. I mean, obviously he chose Plo because Plo's his favorite. But I mean, I feel like there were other Jedi that were more feasible that more people would have believed. Because like you literally saw Plo Koon.
I was gonna say it's like. I mean, clearly they've gotten adept at bringing back characters that we thought have perished. I mean, 2 huge ones have returned, Palpatine and Boba Fett. Both looked pretty fucking dead to me when I was a little kid back in the 80s, but not the case. But with Plo, I mean, unless they were like, well, he at the last second formed a force bubble and... he kind of fell to the ground and protected himself. I mean, it's more believable that Mace Windu lived than Plo Koon, right? Can you agree with that? Yeah.
I mean, you literally saw, like, this is what happened with Plo Koon. He was flying his Jedi, ship. He gets come behind by 2 different X-Wings. They both hit him. You see the whole ship explode, and not only do you see that, you then see it crash into
of course.
Just fucking a city.
He crashes into a tower and further explodes. So either way, I mean, it was just a distraction. But did you find? I mean, they went so far as to include CG Plo Koon heads onto the Luke body in dailies. I mean, that's how concerned
artwork,
they were.
everything.
I mean, concept art. They were so worried about shit leaking about Luke that they went to these lengths. I mean, probably spending thousands and thousands of dollars to do it. I mean, think about that Plo head, unless it was a pre-built asset, some dope had to sit there and animate that thing in some form or fashion to even just have it sit on the body correctly.
Exactly.
So that's pretty fucking intense. But hey, that's why we love these guys.
That's the one secret that they've been able to keep since this show released.
It is crazy because that's
Grogu.
we'll get to that because that was one of my facts is that they knew all the other stuff was leaking, but this one they figured out how to keep it locked up. All right, the next point I really appreciated as a fan, and I'm sure the rest of you hardcore fanboys and girls did too. But there was both John and Dave in separate interviews essentially explained that they were 100% aligned on the narrative choice to bring Luke Skywalker back. And Dave even went so far as to, it sounded like it was John's idea, but Dave went so far as to say, listen, who else could we have trusted to take this character that fans just, fell head over heels for over 2 seasons of content? Who else could we trust to take them away and it actually makes sense that Grogu would be safe? And he's like, listen, if John came with me with Luke and I thought it was dumb and it wouldn't work, I would have told him. So I like, we all know Filoni is kind of the keeper of the story, but I think he makes it clear that even though John is the man, the showrunner, John is always willing to yield to Filoni's knowledge and care for the characters. But Filoni said, he's like, listen, no, I 100% agreed with John. This was the only character that we could do the handoff with that made sense to him as George Lucas Jr. and clearly to all of us fans.
Makes sense, yeah.
Did anyone else notice, and I'm assuming people that are more in the know with lighting and VFX and set dressing, but there were multiple shots where R2 appeared green, and I've got it up here right now on the live stream. His panels are green, and I'm assuming that's because they did use some blue screen. You probably don't want those colors getting washed or mixed up. But, I just thought it was interesting that R2 was not always blue when he was doing his work for The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I think you probably hit it. It's probably the blue screen, so they just changed the key color of whatever's on his head, and then they just put the blue over it.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, they did use the real blue R2, and there was even shots where he was right in front of a blue screen in blue, but other ones he was in green. So who the fuck knows what they're doing on that set? I trust them because so far they have not let us down over, 16 episodes of excellence. This one here, I again, just the level of secrecy and the ability of these people to keep this thing hidden for so long is amazing, because in some of the Hamill interviews, he reveals that Dave and John told Mark about Luke being in Mandalorian before season 1 even hit the air. In fact, they invited him over to come watch S1E1 just to see what he would think about the franchise. And of course, the ending and seeing the baby, Mark was like, yeah, he's like, that's when I was like, I'm probably gonna have to do this for the fans. Like, I'm the only actor, the only character to directly work with this species in Star Wars. So while he's like, yeah, I had to go and think on it, he pretty much said, I owed it to the character of Luke and the fans to agree to this and come back and do it. And that's why we love Mr. Mark Hamill. Okay. How about the fact that they shot it in secret, even from their own crew, who were out doing the Robert Rodriguez outdoor shot for S2E6? I thought it's like, that's how much care they put into hiding this whole thing.
I think they definitely did that, and John had mentioned right after that like they did that because they knew active leaks were happening. They knew that shit was leaking. You're
exactly right, because I think he says, he's like, listen, we found out that everyone knew Ahsoka was going to be Rosario and that Tem was coming back as Boba. But he's like, it was unbelievable that we were able to keep the Luke thing a secret. And, Nick's right. When you clean house and you're talking Plo Koon or just the Jedi, it gets a lot easier. Because let's be real. Not everyone on this set is a celebrity and making a ton of cheese. A lot of them are probably losers like me that want to get some clout. So they're the ones saying, yeah, Rosario's here, or Timothy's here, Or what was it? What was the other guy? The Terminator guy. I fucking forget his name is here. But they're like, for Luke, they're like, you know what? Fuck these people. We're going to send all the interns, all the PAs, all the low levels out on the shoot with Robert. And then just the core team is going to remain here and get the Luke exchange done. I
mean, the level of, they literally locked the guy who was doing like the deep fake stuff, like the facial technology for Luke in a room. They locked him in a room so nobody else could go in there.
Right.
Like, that's the level of,
isn't it crazy? Like all the money and machinations they put into this, and they still kind of fucked up his face.
Yeah, I feel like they talked about it a little bit too. And from what I could gather, I don't know if this is the same way you felt, Matt, but like, to me, they said that they didn't use deepfake. Like,
no, they used like AI and machine learning that essentially pieced together millions of facial movements that Mark produced from his time shooting 4, 5, and 6. So they essentially had a huge data warehouse of all of Mark's face movements, and then through its artificial intelligence, they would feed the machine so it would learn, and based on the actor's movements, they would have that kind of crazy Dune-looking head thing over, and the AI would literally, in real time, calculate, like, all right, the actor's face smiled, so now we got to pull clips from Return of the Jedi where Luke was smiling a bit, and that would produce the look. And I think that's probably why it looked fucked up. Like, why not go with what Marvel was doing? I don't know. I mean, but that's not what they did not use the Marvel tech. I think they made that pretty clear.
The Marvel stuff was like more around de-aging. It's like they didn't actually use like old stuff from Michael Douglas or from, whoever, Kurt Russell or anything like that. Like, they just I think the way that John put it was like they painted out their wrinkles digitally, and like they kind of like tightened their face up a little bit. But it was interesting to see how they went about doing that.
I mean, the tech, for someone that is in tech and studies it and pretends to be a computer scientist, it's mind-blowing. Like what this AI is doing. I mean, if you people don't think that all these movies are going to be real at some point in time, they are. We are teaching software to do very, very complex shit at this point in time. I mean, like I said, it was just a library of video footage of Mark's face, and the system, the application, the AI would all work together, and based on the footage from the set, it would map Mark's young face onto the body of that young actor that kind of stood in for him. Did you find it funny that they brought Mark there? They had him do the script. They fitted him for a costume. They had him hit his marks, did the lines. Yet they didn't use his voice or his body in the final product.
I mean, I get, like, honestly, like, he was there as more of like the double. Like, usually that's what the double does. Right. Like, he just kind of stands in, and then you fill in everything else with the main guy. Really, what they did this time was they had Max, the stunt guy, do everything, and they just kind of had Mark stand in for certain things. And I think it was more to give Max like a direct, like, real world reference.
This
of
is
like,
how,
hey, this is how you do it.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's like Mark would do the scene, and then they'd be like, okay, now let's actually do the scene.
Yeah, I mean, the only scene that's actually Mark is like when he, I think he still said the lines and stuff, but they had to go back over it, and then they had to obviously add in that digitally, what is it called? Re-speech or something like that?
No, I was going to get to this one. We'll just say it. They used a neural network synth voice from old Hamill sound samples.
Yeah.
So again, machine learning and artificial intelligence and machine learning. So they didn't use his lines that he delivered on set. They didn't use his body that was on set. But I think it was more for, this is how you play Luke, dummy guy that's just going to sit there. Yeah. And let's be real, it's Mark Hamill. He's an ambassador. He is Luke Skywalker. You have to include him. Like, you can't just say, hey, Mark, we're doing this. You're a little out of shape. You don't really look like Luke in his 30s. We can't use you, but just wanted to let you know. You got to bring him in. They did it the right way. But I just thought it was funny that zero performance of Mark Hamill from that day was used in the final product.
Yeah. So,
but I'm sure
if they ever choose to use Luke again, which I mean is possible given the direction of the show, I'd be curious to see if they would go through that whole hubbub again, or if they'd just call him and be like, "Hey, you can be here, or you can't. Like, it's up to you." Like,
I don't. I think at this, no, I think they do it exactly the same. I think, I don't know. I think they feel obligated, and they should. They probably should feel obligated to include him as much as he wants to be involved. I mean, it could be. I would think it'd be more Mark saying, "Hey guys, I appreciate the offer. I get it, but can I just go on set and like not get dressed up and I'll just fucking do it and like speak the lines for the kid so he understands like my facial movements and my hand movements and stuff like that." But hey, it was fun seeing the old guy dressed up as young Luke again, even if it did look a little off. I mean, I think they got him after I don't know, he must have been on a tour or something, because he definitely looked a little bloated, kind of like how I feel right now. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of with Bat in here in the chat. And we've talked about this at the end of Mando S2. I don't think you can completely leave Grogu alone in The Mandalorian moving forward. I mean, I don't think he has to be a main character, but at some point in time, there's going to have to be a check-in on Grogu, and you would think that Luke may be involved with that. Who knows? Who knows how much they want to use him? I mean, he has potential to be used in Ahsoka, all over the place. I mean, if they did it now, it's kind of like the Luke Skywalker Pandora's box has been opened. And, we know that we heard that news over the summer about that, was his name, Shamook, or that expert YouTube deep faker was hired by Lucasfilm now.
Hired.
I've just let him do it and not fuck around with AI and machine learning, and there you go. We're going to have a permanent CG Luke, as everyone likes to call this version of him. Yeah. All right. Some of the other points here. Oh, I loved that Filoni just kind of had to whip out his lore dick and be like, hey, I just want to remind everyone in the room that Ahsoka Tano is Luke's senior skill-wise, all right? And this was in reference to him talking about what Luke would look like as a Jedi in the Mando, because, obviously his skills would be slightly increased from the last time we saw him in Return of the Jedi, but he still never had official training for longer than a few days on Dagobah, where Ahsoka grew up in the Order, trained under Yoda, trained under Anakin, trained under Obi-Wan. So yes, clearly her skill set as a pure Force user, a Jedi, is going to be well beyond Luke's at this point in time. Obviously, he probably has more potential because he's got the secret sauce within his nutsack. But in terms of everything else, Force in the Jedi way, Ahsoka is decades beyond him. And I just thought it was funny that Dave was like, hey, psst, I know everyone likes Luke, but remember, she's my character and she's pretty fucking awesome too. So
that was pretty fun. I did like that part.
I almost
he stopped short of saying like Ahsoka would kick Luke's ass. Like that's what he was thinking.
Didn't you feel like that's where he was going? He's like, hey everyone, by the way, I mean Ahsoka's pretty fucking great at this point in time. Yeah. Like she's pretty fucking special. And she is. We loved her, and there are so many reasons for her and Luke to have an interaction in her show or all these other timeline adjacent shows. I mean, why the fuck not? Why wouldn't an Ahsoka and Luke run into each other? So I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. Dave definitely stumping for his girl, as he should.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know. I should have been wiser to this fact, but this was the very first episode to feature John Williams's actual music, like with zero intervention from Ludwig. Because I thought during the Ahsoka episode, we got a little bit of the Yoda hint, but Favreau was pretty adamant, like, listen, motherfuckers, I wasn't going to cheat. because he's like Nick and I. He understands that without John Williams, Star Wars isn't Star Wars. He's like, they go hand in hand at this point in time. But he made a point to say, I did not want to cheat on this show and use John Williams themes. So he's like, this was the first time we relied on that gimmick, and we had to because of Luke's return.
Yeah, there was no other. You can't. What are you going to play? What music are you going to play when Luke Skywalker reveals himself? Like, you can't play. You have to play the Luke theme. You have to play the John Williams shit.
It had to happen.
Play Ludwig music.
I'll tell you what, though. After watching this, I'm like, I've got a chub for Mando again, like to the point where I'm ready to go through all 16 episodes. Over the weekend, I was thrown on the soundtrack for season 2 outside when it was like 90 degrees. I don't know. Maybe it's we're coming into September. It's starting to feel like that time of year, but I'm feeling that I need some Mando in my life.
I mean, it's definitely a fallow period until the middle of September now when we get Visions. And then even Visions is going to be it's a
one-day deal.
Most people, it's like a one-day. Yeah, exactly.
I think we'll all get through Visions in probably an hour or less. I don't see them being. I mean, if they're true shorts, how long can a short be before it's not short? That is the question of life,
like,
right?
You're talking. It's going to be like what is it? Love, Death, and Robots, or whatever it was on Netflix, and those are only like 7 minutes each. So, I mean, it is definitely less than an hour. So, you have very little new Star Wars content coming out until December. So, if you do want to start a week by week rewatch of The Mandalorian, now would be a good time to start it because you would have roughly 16 weeks until the release of the Mando.
I don't know if I need to do. I think I've seen season 1 in full because it was going on while Charlie was still like drinking the Kool-Aid. It was like crack to her. Hey, let's watch it. Let's watch it. I think I've seen season 1 in full 6 times if you consider how I watched the first. The first time I watch an episode, I watch it. Then I'll watch it again. And then I'll watch it again. So usually on a Friday, I'll see it 3 times just then. And then so I've probably seen season 1 over 5 times. Season 2, I'm only probably 2 deep, and that's just study viewing and then family viewing. So maybe I'll just do season 2. I just feel like I'm ready for Mando. Got to get the table set. I know Book of Boba is still 3 months away, but I'm feeling it. And this fucking special kind of, I think, increased my hype for what's coming here in December. We talked about the neural networks and how really nothing that Mark provided on set was used. It's funny, but it's all. I mean, it goes to show you the power of film technology these days and how computer science is taking over that genre as well. I mean, at this point in time, if you don't know how to fucking use computers in a highly advanced way, you're probably going to lose in whatever market you operate in. You can't survive anymore. The fact that they're using like NASA level shit to make Star Wars shows should show you that the machines are almost fully taking over how we run every type of business in the world. Did I cry? Yes, I cried. I was actually going to bring it up. I'll tell you when I cried during this special, and it was for our fellow fan, Jon Favreau. And it was about this little guy right here. So the next kind of fun fact was that they literally took animation from Return of the Jedi in R2-D2's light, and for some reason felt the need to superimpose it in the year 2021 on a modern version of R2-D2. But hey, I like those little Easter eggs, whatever they got to do. But this was the moment that finally got me in this gallery episode here. And it was listening to Mr. Jon Favreau talk about his own emotional breakdown over R2-D2's appearance, not so much Luke. And I don't know if everyone remembers this, but I kind of had the same. Yeah, the Luke thing was like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. But I remember that Friday morning sitting down in my basement, probably at 6 a.m, seeing that scene play out, seeing Luke show up, just being like, holy shit, life is good today. But then R2 rolls around. I remember that this is all I said. I was like, R2 is like, oh! it sounds like that's exactly what John was doing the day of filming. I mean, it was so bad that even Filoni's like, yo, I was seeing what John was going through with this, and it was like, it was real. And they did a nice segment on how Grogu is kind of like the R2 of this generation, and how people like me latched on to characters like R2 when we were young, and how special they are, and why we reacted that way like John when R2 showed up. And they're right. It really is. I mean, a lot of times the billboard characters in Star Wars are great, but sometimes it's these ancillary people, the droids, Grogu, Yoda, what's his name? Fucking the shithead from Tross that we all like, Babu Frick. It's these little characters that can turn grown men like me into little piles of wet mush. But I thought it was great to hear that it did the same thing to Jon Favreau, and it sounds like maybe Filoni was on set like, "Ha ha, you pussy!" But no, I mean, really, the special is great. Listening to those two and their passion for the show, for the franchise, and really for each other and their ideas. It's who wouldn't want to work for these two men? Nick, we've said this before. Sometimes watching shit like this, it's a double-edged sword, because while I love the content, I love getting the BTS for anything Star Wars, it also reminds me that I was a severe fuck-up in life and didn't realize what I really wanted to do until it was probably too late, because I want to be in these fucking documentaries, even the guy holding the fucking mic. Like, come on. Look at the shit these people get to experience in life, and then compare it to what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
If it makes you feel bad, then you know how I feel. All right.
It's definitely, it kind of sucks watching them. And that's like, I don't even think I watched the first part of season 2. I was like, I don't feel like watching that one, because I don't feel like just regretting the decisions that I've made in my life. So, I didn't watch that one, but this one in particular, one I had to watch because the season finale was such a huge part. It honestly, like, I've forgotten most of what happened in season 2 because the finale was so good. So I had to watch that one, and obviously with Mark Hamill involved in it, it was a no-brainer. You got to be there.
Look at Bat with a deep reference. When I said I want to be the mic guy, he said, "Break out your pink shorts." I don't know. I mean, how many do you get that one, Nick?
Yeah, they have that picture of the guy in the boom mic.
Pink shorts guy. Like, it literally, it looked like he was just wearing undies, and that's it, because it was so fucking hot. What was it? The Tunisia?
Yeah, the Tunisia set. Yeah, I remember that picture. But yeah, I mean, watching shit like that, it is definitely a double-edged sword. This one I enjoyed more than I got caught up in, like, fuck, I wish I was doing that, because it wasn't really focused on, like, this was more focused on not even the whole episode. This was focused on one particular moment.
It was the process of getting Luke in the show is what this was about.
And like, I enjoyed that more than I would have enjoyed, like, oh, look at all the behind the scenes and all of that stuff. Cause then I just get jealous and I get salty and I'm like, oh fuck, I should have done that, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, it was a fun watch. I'm glad that I sat down and watched it, and I did not cry during this one, but I definitely did cry.
Nick has no emotions. Like, you guys think I am the Sith? I'm telling you, this guy has no emotions. Like, he's even worse than
Jedi.
me.
That's a Jedi.
Yeah, I guess you are
Jedi
right.
Are supposed to.
You are right. Yeah, you are. You are just like a husk. You have no soul.
The Sith are the emotional.
Yeah, you got me. You are 100% correct. So look at me picking my nose right now. Holy shit! There's a big one up there. Hold on, let me get it. You guys on the stream are getting the bonus. See, you don't even have to pay for this
extra show.
This is what you call mining for gold. There's something up there. I think it's a nose hair.
This is OnlyFans content that you're getting for free now.
How about those fucking idiots? Like, how dumb are people? Real quick. If you don't know what this is about, or what OnlyFans essentially became a very popular social media site because of men. Well, men are creepy in general, and they like looking at somewhat nude women. So these women would get on there. A lot of them housewives are making like $50,000 a month, wearing lingerie or, maybe showing a nipple or getting a little racier than that. So obviously it's probably a successful site and therefore a business. And what was it, like 2 weeks ago, OnlyFans comes out. We, come October 1st, we are no longer allowing sexually explicit content on our platform. Peace and love, peace and love. And within 4 days, these fucking idiots had to do a 180 and be like, oh yeah, reversal. Yeah, just kidding. We forgot that we like making money, so yeah, keep the nudes on the platform, and there you go. All right, so.
Oh man, that was.
I mean, Nick, you're in this space. When you saw them announce that, were you just like, this ain't gonna last? I mean,
I was just like, what?
How fucking dumb are people?
That's essentially their whole platform. But I read the issues. The issues were that they couldn't secure like venture capital funding because they're essentially a porn site. And but then they were like, yeah, we're gonna backtrack because if we don't allow explicit content, the whole site's gonna fold.
Right. You can either have your money making machine right now, or you can get cute and add like a new feature with some venture capital and make those weirdos happy. No.
Yeah.
We're all deranged. I mean, all men are fucked up. It doesn't matter how old you are. All you think about are naked women if you're straight, and I'm sure naked men if you're gay. It consumes us. At least me. Even 41, being married for all these years. There is not a moment in this day that I'm not thinking about naked girls. I can't help it. It's just we're animals, people. It's how we are wired. Men are wired to procreate. It's not good. We shouldn't be wired that way anymore because we don't need any more humans, but that's what it is. We typically think with the lower head. It's how we are cooked. All right, so if you haven't caught that special yet, it's out there on Disney Plus, and go ahead and punch yourself for missing it up until this point. Next one here. I thought it was interesting. Nick's like, he's not really buying into this one, but the only reason I'm kind of giving it some weight is because it comes from a site that is respected. I respect it. It's not these poo flingers on Reddit. This comes from Star Wars Newsnet. I mean, they've got like a network of sites. They've got a pretty popular podcast. They get looped into all the official Lucasfilm stuff, so clearly they're better than us. So I trust them. But this is what they're saying. So I guess for those of you that hate all sorts of spoilers, even if they are speculative, you may not want to listen to this segment. But SWNN apparently got some leaked concept art from the Kenobi series, in particular of Darth Vader. And their whole spin, Nick, I thought it was kind of odd. It's like, well, why you bring back Hayden if he's just going to be in the mask? And any of us worth a damn, and when it comes to Star Wars speculation, you know why they brought back Hayden, because you are going to see him without the fucking mask. So I agree with Nick. I mean, it's like, okay, yeah, great. Their spin was odd. Like, no, this proves that this is why he's coming back.
Yeah.
They didn't fucking hire Hayden Christensen and pump it up as the Return of the Century to keep him in the goddamn Darth Vader outfit the whole time. Yeah, okay?
No, obviously not. Obviously not.
I mean, they're going to do fucking flashbacks. We're going to see him as Anakin again. That's a no-brainer. And we're probably going to see him without the helmet on. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, do you know how fiscally dumb that would be to give Hayden Christensen the money that you probably had to give him to get him back, to only have him in the suit? That would be the dumbest thing you've ever done. You're not even going to use his voice in the suit.
Right.
The voice is going to be all modulated.
Yeah, James Earl Jones. I think he's still alive. Yeah. So, but I mean, if they were into this whole thing of just paying an actor to be in a suit, he would have played Vader in Rogue One. He did not. So clearly Lucasfilm can hire Vaders that aren't Hayden when they feel like it, if he's just going to be in the suit. So, I mean, that's not the news. The news really is the screens. Nick thinks some of them are lifted from Rogue One. Who knows? But if you are on the live stream, the first shot we're looking at here, I'll try to zoom in because it was a tiny and it's low res. But they're saying this is a Kenobi concept art piece, and I'll try to describe it for those of you that don't do the live stream. But it's Anakin in his tube. He's got like these tubes into him where he's got all these holes on his chest. He's wearing a scuba apparatus. He's essentially in for his little spa session.
It's very reminiscent of when you saw the tube drain in Rogue One, and then you saw the husk of Vader kind of hanging there. It's very, I mean, that's what leads me to believe, like, I'm not saying that it is, I'm just saying that, like, you could easily pass this, like, these could be Rogue One things, because there's nothing here that is specific to Kenobi. All of this stuff that we see in these leaked images, we've seen happen in real time in Rogue One.
So these other two, they just support the tank. You have a close-up of the mask, and you have a back to tank, and these are rendered, and this is, I believe from reading the article, SWNN had an artist take the actual set pics and render them, I'm guessing so they didn't get in trouble. That was their story. And here's the deal. While, I mean, Nick's not wrong. These very well could have been repurposed from Rogue One. But I think it makes perfect sense that we may get a scene of Vader healing in Kenobi. And we'll actually hear him talk instead of it just being a mannequin. Or like I think it was a mannequin in Rogue One. It wasn't even a real person in that tank.
It wasn't a real person.
So I mean, while Nick isn't wrong, it does seem that, hey, we got Hayden, we got to see him without the mask on. We're probably going to see Vader in his meditation chamber or in these back to tanks healing and actually get some interaction with him. Maybe like maybe him killing someone while he is healing. Like, think about that. He's nothing. He's a torso and a head, and someone pisses him off, and while he's healing, he just fucking force kills him. So who knows? Yeah.
I mean, I have to say that most of the time I forget that a large majority of the populace is stupid. So like, they hear that Hayden Christensen is going to be in Kenobi, and like, for all reasonable people, and I mean everybody listening to this podcast, including Matt and myself, we think like, oh, okay, we're going to get the full Vader experience. We're going to see him like this. We'll see him in the suit. We'll see some flashbacks. But there are literally people who are like, Hayden Christensen's in the show. What does that mean? He's just going to be in the suit.
Or
I'm
like, you know, I mean, you
dumb?
made fun of me when I put up the shot of him. They're like, oh, it looks like he's working out. It's like, they're like, oh, he's working out. Maybe he's going to be Anakin too, so he looks big. It's like, well, yeah, no fucking shit.
No shit, assholes. Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just like, I have to remember that there are a lot of people out there who just don't make very logical connections in their brain. Like, just
of course, look at your news app on a daily basis, and you will be reminded that we live with a lot of fucking dopey people that you just. I know it's hard for our brains to comprehend it, but it's out there. A lot of it. A lot of it.
Oh yeah.
1-6.
Right.
We're looking at supposed concept art from Kenobi of Vader's healing tank thing.
Healing tank, and what his form will look like within it. So
I want to see Hayden as damaged Anakin, 100%. Yeah. But that I don't know why that's a big deal. And I'm not making fun of SWNN. They just said, hey, we got some concept art that we're saying is legit. It's straight from the show. In fact, it's so legit that we paid someone to render it so we don't get sued, type of stuff. But it was funny that their spin was, oh, well, now this makes sense why Hayden's kind of like, okay. And I think it's like what Nick is saying, that they're kind of taking the lowest common denominator approach out there.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, like I just have to get out of the habit of saying like, yeah, of course. Like, I just need to not do that anymore.
Right, dude, if we always said, of course, we literally would have nothing to talk about each week, because everything to us is just like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. But trust me, there's people out there taking livestock dewormers. So this is what we're working with these days, pal. All right.
It's very true.
But hey, I'm super excited for this. I know. I mean, Tones has almost become a field reporter at this point in time. I want to give him a little shout out in Discord. He's been dropping in some leads that I take a look at. You know, sometimes I've seen him before he gets there. But Tones is definitely out there scouring the net and looking for stuff for the SWTS, and that, you know, that's why we love him. But this one here, he shared the reason that we didn't share this. There's an infographic going around of the supposed release schedule on Disney Plus, and it's got the Disney Plus logo on it. It's clearly fake. I don't think it's wrong, Nick. I don't know if you saw it pop up, but again, here's my disclaimer on that type of stuff. If it doesn't show up in the pits of Star Wars leaks, it's about as bogus as it gets. So if the fans are in our Discord, and if you want to join, we'd love for you to join. You can use our Linktree link in Instagram to hit our Discord channel. We'd love to have you. But if there are fans posting stuff and it doesn't make it to the show or the site, it's not because I think you're a cocksucker. I vet. Unlike a lot of people, especially when it comes to news, I actually then go out and research it to make sure that it is legit or not legit. And typically, if a leak like that doesn't show up on Star Wars Leaks, one of the seediest places on Reddit for Star Wars news, it's beyond bogus. But I don't disagree with what this infographic was saying. And it was essentially, Nick, it's laying down the cadence of 2022 releases, and it starts with Book of Boba, which we know that's coming in December. Mm-hmm. Then I think it was saying it was going to Kenobi or something like that, and then Andor. Basically, every show that wrapped filming in 2021 is going to debut in 2022. Well,
yeah.
There's like a Lego show in there, and then Mando season 3, and like I said, I think it's a good guess. It's the same guess we have given you, but that's what it is at this point in time. If it's not on Reddit Star Wars Leaks, it's stinky. All right. But it definitely made its way.
Somebody made it in their basement.
I think so, Nick. But, it was, trust me, it was hard for me to kind of sit on my hands because it was definitely getting some heat last week around the small little Star Wars fanboy community that I find myself in every day. All right, this is another one from Tones, and I missed this because I did watch this little video, Nick, and I don't know if there's a lot to say about this, but it is kind of curious. But last week, ILM VFX released a kind of a little behind-the-scenes short for The Mandalorian Season 2, just talking about virtual worlds. And during Robert's section, Rodriguez, if you kind of paid attention, you would have seen a still from the production, Season 2, Chapter 14, where Boba takes Din back to Navarro so they can find information on Mayfeld. But if you're on the stream, you can see this still. There's a deleted scene, my friends. Boba Fett and Greef Karga were at least going to re-meet, exchange hands, give a high five in Chapter 14 of Season 2. Obviously, it got cut, but I think there's some speculation you could get down with here, Nick, in the form of if Greef was running the Bounty Hunter Guild. Now, were there multiple? I don't know. Was that the main one? Who knows? You would think him and Boba Fett probably know each other, right?
Yeah.
They've either worked together, or Greef has given him pucks. They've heard of each other. There's no way in fucking hell you can say that these two had not known or heard or seen each other before this deleted scene in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think it obviously there's some Book of Boba Fett potential here. I mean, I'm sure we might have even mentioned this, Greef's potential for that show being bounty hunter-ish, Boba's bounty hunter-ish past. Maybe they work together. Maybe Boba's looking for some gigs. Maybe Boba's looking to take over the guild. Maybe they're rivals. I don't know, but it's interesting that they were supposed to have a scene in The Mandalorian that ended up getting cut. Obviously not a huge deal. It really didn't matter. I understand why they cut it. But I like to kind of think, like, what do these guys know about each other, and where could it go from here?
Yeah, I would imagine that Greef probably knows more about Boba than Boba does about Greef.
Yeah, that's a fair statement.
Because but Boba's probably like, yeah, he's the guy who gives me my pucks, and I get the job done. He gives me my, I get my credits. I get the fuck out of there. But then, Grief has to know a little bit more about these bounty hunters because he has to be able to tell them, or has to be able to know, like, can I give this puck, which is a fucking
can I trust this guy?
job,
yeah,
to this guy. Now, what really is going to shake out is the direction that they take, that they choose to take Boba Fett in Book of Boba, because they could just have it to where, like, boom, he's back on the scene, he takes over the castle, and now maybe he tries to start his own bounty hunter guild. Like,
doesn't Grief more or less, hasn't he become like the magistrate of Navarro now, like a mayor almost?
He's not necessarily like he's not running a guild anymore.
Yeah,
he's
I don't think so.
A government official. Like he's in an official capacity now. So it depends. Like, do they want to take Boba Fett like back to the bounty hunting route, or do they send him on a completely new like direction to where he does become like a crime lord or a syndicate leader or something like that?
It's so, like, I know we have a BOB topic to talk about. Maybe we should save it for there. But there are a lot of paths Boba can go, and I really think the Mandalorian and the way it ends and the way we kind of see how he's not such a cocksucker. We're seeing it in more of the bounty hunters. He truly is kind of a man of his word. I mean, he adheres to ethics. They might be fucked up, but he believes in it. He
has his own moral code.
He literally could have killed Chewbacca, Princess Leia, and Lando all before Return of the Jedi. But he's like, hey guys, I'm not here to fuck with you. I've got a job. That's all I want to do. I just want my bounty. I just want to get paid. So can we just be friends for a little bit? All right, see ya.
And that's what's going to be interesting about Book, is that now he's untethered. Like, he doesn't have that anymore. Like, he's not living his life by the letter of the job that he's on. Like, he has to make his own decisions, and that's kind of what you see happening in Mando season 2. Is like, now that he is, come out of his exile in the deserts of Tatooine, he chose to help Din.
Exactly.
He chose to do all these things.
It was a debt. It was a debt, though. That's the interesting thing. Is he even better of a person after saving Grogu, or was it truly just, hey, like him and Fennec said at the end of episode 6, we owe you. We will pay off our debt. I still think they're all going to be kind of friends and rely on each other moving forward, but Boba's path forward in Book of Boba is going to be very interesting, because he could go into the old ways. He could go fully, have like a face turn and just go good guy, or he could kind of live in the middle, do like kind of dabble in the black market crime syndicate scene while also helping his friends when needed. So who knows? I mean, Neo Boba to me is so fucking interesting. And what has been done with him so far still leaves a ton of canvas to be painted out for this character to completely revitalize what he was, that dope, the bozo in the original trilogy. Yeah. But I don't know. I think this scene could have been cool, especially if they knew each other. And no, to those of you, that's not Cara. That's Fennec without her helmet on. So it's Boba, Din, and Fennec, and then they're talking to Grief, and that scene got cut. I think it just cut to, I think in the show we saw the Slave One land, then it cuts to Din talking with Cara to get the info on Mayfeld. But I don't know. It was kind of a nice pickup. Again, Tone shared this one with us. I found it to be somewhat interesting that, hey, there's deleted scenes from this show that a lot of us, I don't even think we've been thinking about, because they've all been so fucking perfect for the most part that we're just like, great. Yeah. We don't need to know about stuff that might have been scrapped or left on the cutting room floor.
What's interesting is that so obviously this episode was Rodriguez's episode in Mando, and it could be the reason that he chose to cut it is because he already knew Book of Boba was coming, and he was like, hold on, I'm going to save that for Book, and we can roll right into the next piece
that
here.
I think that's a good call. Because why waste this? Why waste this moment in a throwaway scene in Mando when you could almost make it a whole episode in Book of Boba?
Exactly, and Robert Rodriguez is one of the EPs and Episode 1 director on Book of Boba Fett. So he probably knew. I mean, he definitely knew well ahead of time.
Is he more or less the? I know he's EP, but is he kind of the showrunner? It
kind of seems like he is. Like they didn't come out and say he was the showrunner, but like he's the guy. You know, like Deborah Chow is the guy, the girl on Kenobi. Like he's kind of the guy.
Okay.
On book.
Yeah, that's kind of how I like. He's directing the one episode. He's not directing every episode. I envision I don't know if you guys have watched this, and I highly recommend it now after seeing it. But I realize that I'm still paying for Apple TV Plus. It was like free for a year, and didn't pay attention. But I've been paying for it like all summer.
Yeah, so it's like $5.
Yeah, it's like, hey, whatever. Just like everything else, we're like, oh, it's $5, and then you look at your end of month bills, and you're essentially spending $300 on streaming platforms and gaming subscriptions and whatnot. What the fuck was I saying?
You were watching something on
I'm watching Apple TV Plus. Just like, fucking, I'm paying for it. I watched C. I thought it was excellent. I'm ready for season 2. My man Dave Bautista's on it. But the show I'm talking about is the morning show. It is brilliant. You know, it kind of jumped on the whole Me Too thing. It's essentially a mirror of what happened on Good Morning America with Matt Lauer and all that fun stuff. The point and how it ties back to here, for those of you that have seen the show, I'm envisioning Robert Rodriguez on Book of Boba as being like the Chip character, who is the executive producer, but pretty much makes all the fucking all the calls. You know, who's doing what, who's getting to direct, kind of the flow of each episode, so on and so forth.
Yeah. So Rodriguez, you know, speaking to the press, had a quote during an interview with Collider talking about Book of Boba Fett, and look, it's kind of a nothing quote.
Yeah, what do you want the guy to say? What do you want the guy to say?
So this is what he says. He says, I can't say anything about it at all right now, but it's coming out in December. Wait until you see what's coming. It's going to blow your mind. That's all I can say. I can talk it up all I want because I know it over delivers. It way over delivers. People are going to be so pumped when they see it. So like, again, like, what is it? What is the executive producer, director of episode 1, and potentially kind of like the leader behind this series going to say? Like, it's okay.
Yeah,
you know, it's not
hey
as
guys,
good as Mando.
we gave it not maximum effort. We half-assed it. We took a lot of time off.
It's a solid 65%.
You're gonna get what you fucking get, assholes. I mean, it's like,
no.
I don't know. If anything, it's like the fact that they're out starting to hype. I think that was the exciting aspect of this article. It's like, okay, it's shot, it's in the can, it's probably almost fully processed. As soon as October, maybe we'll start getting looks at it. But it is kind of funny. I mean, this is another one where, you know, you can tell Star Wars news is in the doldrums because this was all over the place. Deep. I mean, this is Collider like, hey, we got this exclusive shit. It's like, he's just like, the thing I made is fucking awesome.
Yeah, dude, J.J. Abrams said the same thing about Tross. Brian Johnson said the same thing about T. Everybody says that about the
and
stuff
now
that
you talk to J.J. and he goes, yep, we should have had a plan.
Exactly. So tunes change when people can actually speak honestly about the material that they make. But I mean, like, so one thing that kind of spun off of this was, and that I included in this article was there was a something on the Star Wars leaks Reddit saying, you know, Cad Bane gonna be in Book of Boba. Matt and I have been talking about this forever. The idea that we see Cad Bane back in Boba Fett, but I mean, with somebody like Robert Rodriguez, if you look at not only the work that he did in the one episode of Mando season 2 that he did, but also just his body of work. He is an action-oriented guy. Like, this dude loves to shoot high action scenes.
Yeah.
So do you have a feeling that, like, Book of Boba could stray more action-oriented than Mando did?
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. I am a born-again Boba Fett fan because of what Robert did with the character in episode 6 of season 2. We know the story. I mean, he's like, John gave me a script for like 14 minutes of content and said, that's why I hired you. You do the rest. And that was essentially filled in with cool ass action moments. And we got them in the form of Nia Boba first coming out with his gaffy stick and absolutely destroying motherfuckers with it. Then when he gets his armor, he comes in with his kick-ass tribal music, dropping, grenades on people, shooting motherfuckers, burning motherfuckers. Yeah, I think you're 100% correct. I think it'll be much more action-focused than what The Mandalorian gives us. Now, Mando, every episode you'd get one little moment, right? Either Din would be in peril, Grogu would be in peril, running from spiders, getting stuck in a tank by Quarrens and needing save from night owls. But I could see more fisticuffs, gunfights, stuff like that in Book of Boba.
Yeah. Especially if we lean into what we're kind of expecting the show to be, which is like kind of like a retelling of his past while also progressing his current stage. Because if you're going back and you're looking at young Boba and you're looking at his rise as a bounty hunter in the galaxy, you have to see these action scenes. You have to see him completing these jobs or right. like we said, fighting Cad Bane or whatever he's doing. The first time somebody puts a contract out on Han Solo, like whatever we see from his past is going to be more action oriented because that was his job. Like his job was to go out and put himself in dangerous situations and get his bounty. So
I just the adjective or the words here, the phrasing, blow your mind. I'm thinking back to Mando S1 and 2. There are two moments, maybe three, where I felt like my mind was blown. The Baby Yoda reveal, S1E1. Okay? I'm going to say the Bo-Katan rescue. Mm-hmm. While it was kind of known that she was coming, her method, her arrival, and how it went down, how soon the season went down, I think it was a bit shocking. But really, the second real one, obviously, is Luke. So, I mean, maybe we'll boil it back down to two. It's the baby reveal and then the Luke reveal. So, with that being said, we've defined what blow your mind means to us. What the fuck is going to happen in Book of Boba to rival those two moments?
That's what I was going to say is like, I don't think that you can... I don't know if any piece of Star Wars content is ever going to meet the level of the Luke reveal at the end of season 2. It's just so hard to match that kind of energy and that unexpected inclusion. Because even us as like hardcore fans, we were like, they're like, no way it's going to be Luke. They're never going to do Luke. It'll be like Ezra. It'll be somebody else.
Cal.
Like some other person.
Again, I was like, I'll sit here and mutilate myself if it was Luke. That's how take it to the bank locked I was on that bad fucking prediction.
Yeah. And then, I mean, really with Boba, you have more of a limited pool to work with of characters who you can pull in from old content. Obviously, the big one is Cad Bane, the one that we've kind of all been
because I think
waiting for.
Omega is off the table at this point. I still think they're going to make that introduction, that connection in Bad Batch versus live action. Now, there was a part of me that if they got to Boba in Bad Batch season 1, maybe there would have been reasons for her to show up in season 2. But I think a bulk of her story is now meant to be told in Bad Batch, and it may very well end there. Who knows? If it doesn't, then yes, then you port her into the Mando timeline where all this stuff is taking place. Yeah. I think Nick's right. I think the big guys, the mind blows would be the Empire bounty hunters, right?
Yeah,
the boss,
hunters, Cad Bane, boss, Dengar, whoever else you want. You could bring in all the guys that were on the Imperial Starship.
Well, technically, at this point in time, wouldn't Dengar be starting all his cosmetic,
I was gonna say,
goofy shit? Thanks, JJ.
You could see him in that transition, I guess.
Yeah, Dengar's transitioning. I love it. Yeah. I love it. Oh, boy.
He's got one robot arm and one robot leg or some shit like that. But there is a limited pool. I mean, it's could you bring it? Like, who knows what has happened to Nala Se up to this point? I mean,
I don't think she ties the Book of Boba. I know Book of Boba is probably going to be Mando 2.5, but I do think the main narrative will focus on him, his past, and what he's doing now. And I'm kind of like Bat, and I think, Nick, you would agree. I foresee Boba in Book of Boba being a more benevolent Maul. In terms of, wanting to get a gang up and running, not wanting to be fully on the up and up, like doing the right thing all the time. But he's going to want to form some sort of faction, get some shit going on, maybe dabble in the whatever crime syndicates we have at this point in time. Yeah. But not as crazy as Darth Maul. Like just straight up, I want to do this shit, but I'm also not going to be a complete madman.
Yeah. And I also think that a lot of the cameos, I guess you would call them, or a lot of these like, super awesome character drops are probably going to happen in flashbacks, like the first time we see Cad Bane, maybe you get him walking into Boba's palace now, but then you get the flashback that gives you some old Boba and Cad. Maybe you get some flashbacks of Aura Singh and the whole bounty hunter group that he had together back in the day. And I think that a lot of the content that we're excited about, like, who are we going to see, is probably going to happen in flashback form.
Yeah, I think Cad has potential for both, and I think your setup would be the best way to go, where Cad showing up again is what kind of kicks off Boba's memory, and maybe he remembers their duel in live action form that led to Cad getting the plate in his head that we see in Bad Batch. And then maybe they either get over their shit in Book of Boba or they finish their shit in Book of Boba. I'm just back to blow your mind. It's like I get the hypeness from Mr. Rodriguez. I'm just, when you think about the character, you think about the timeline and what is plausible. And again, we don't know. We didn't know the Luke shit, so we very well could look like fools here, but blowing your mind with everything that's going into this series and what we know. I don't know. That's kind of a strong sell.
It's tough, hard dude, sell, because like there's so many things. Like you could bring back any number of Jedi if you chose to, because he goes back that far. I mean, feasibly, you could say like, hey, you could put Obi and Anakin both in Book of Boba through flashbacks, because he was around in that time. You could put fucking Luke Skywalker and Han Solo in this show because of flashbacks, but it's like, who do you want to pick out? Like, where is the line that you don't want to cross for this particular series? Right. Because I don't think, like, they're not going to bring back Anakin and Obi because their show's coming up probably 6 months after this one. So like, I think it sticks to
the bounty hunter stuff. I do.
Yeah.
Like shit that was featured in Clone Wars, shit featured in the OT, maybe even shit that is getting brought up in War of the Bounty Hunters. I mean, let's be real. These days, everything is kind of working in unison. The comics, the cartoons, the live action, the movies. So they could very well have elements from War of the Bounty Hunters that either play out, in the current Mando timeline that Book is residing in, or more flashbacks. Boba's ordeal trying to get Han back from his supposed buddies. Han Solo would be a great one. That would be a hard sell. I mean, that would be like the Luke Skywalker.
Oh, dude, no. If you're gonna do it, you just bring in Alden. You just be like, hey, bud, you're Han Solo again. Get your ass in there.
that would get people all worked up. I don't know. I think Book of Boba, I still am gonna kind of rest on the fact that it is going to be Mando 2.5. But I think 60 to 70% will be focused on Boba, highlights from his past, what he's doing post Episode 8, Season 2, and then the other 30 or 35 will be dedicated to maybe checking in on Din, Grief, the rest of the gang, and seeing what the fuck's going on. Maybe they talk about Bo-Katan's hate for Boba and what's going on with the Darksaber, because all that shit's fucking hanging out there still. So I think predominantly it will be a book about Boba Fett, but 35 to 40% of the content will lean towards some of the narratives that were brought up and are continuing in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I agree with that. So you're only a few months out. We're December.
Last point here. Are you worried at all? Or I think Rodriguez is just kind of a hyped up individual, period. But we get two over delivers. We even get a way over delivers. Is that a sign of too much fan service, or him just going like, this is so fucking rad, I can't wait till you guys see this shit?
I think it's more of that than the fan service end of it. Just because I don't think that fan service is necessarily what gets Rodriguez going. Like, if Rodriguez is like, oh shit, this is badass, he's probably more excited about like the set pieces or the particular action sequences that he put together for their show. I don't think that he, like, unlike Dave, where if like Dave says something like this, I'm like, oh man, he's going back. He's pulling out something that we are not expecting, but it's going to blow our mind in terms of like lore nuggets. For Rodriguez, I'm thinking that he's talking like, this shit's going to be fucking badass. There's going to be explosions everywhere. It's gonna be, like,
I don't know.
awesome
Over delivers. It can be good or bad, I think, when it comes to pop culture like this. And sorry, I got a bunch of fucking lupini beans in my mouth. I like to eat every 2 to 3 hours, and I don't usually do that on the show. So then at night I get angry. I'm trying to alleviate that. So right now, if you're on the live stream, I look like a chipmunk. But if you're listening, you're probably ready to turn off because I hate listening to people eating food. So sorry. Well, I'm trying to like get as far back from my mic as possible. I think you can you hear this?
I can't hear it very much, but I don't know about everybody else.
All right, I'll lean back like this.
There we go. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for Book of Boba Fett just because there's a ton of shit that can come out of it. Still yet to be seen if it's
man,
be
it's
like
it's the only live action Star Wars we're getting this year, so we better be excited.
Yeah, we better enjoy it. But yeah, man, I think it's going to be a good show, and maybe like I think I said this in the last show that we did together, like maybe Book of Boba Fett and the Kenobi series, that maybe this is the direction that they're going to take for what was once planned to be movies. Maybe we get a Yoda miniseries. Maybe we get, a Vader miniseries or any other number of ones that we always thought could be good spin-offs or standalone movies. Maybe this is the direction that they take for those. So
hey, why not? I mean, they seem to generate subscribers every second over on Disney Plus. So,
oh yeah.
If money can be made, they will figure out ways to make more of it.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I mean that's our.
Have you been watching What If?
Have you watched? I haven't yet. I want to though. Actually, Taylor wants to watch it more than me because she's like, "Oh, that seems really cool." I was like, "Yeah, it seems pretty good." But we've been watching Ted Lasso a lot. Oh God,
I just started season 2, and
it's so good.
Basically, the kids in school, up until that, we'd essentially just let her hang out with us at night. She'd be up till 9:30, 10 sometimes, go to bed when Heather would go to bed. You can't do that anymore. So we've been getting down to kind of do our family closeout session of the night a little bit earlier. And sometimes Charlie dilly-dallies and we don't quite have time to watch a normal length show. So I was like, let's find a half hour to throw on there. I was like, oh, Heather, you'd love it. Like, I've seen season 1. I'd even restart season 1 if you wanted to. She's like, nah, let's just start right in season 2. First fucking episode, dude, of Ted Lasso season 2, I probably laughed out loud for 80% of it.
Dude.
This show visually is funny, but if you listen and analyze the writing in this show, it could be some of the most brilliant comedic writing I've ever heard. I'm not talking about the easy to pick up on gags and jokes. If you just listen to the lines that were written for these characters, it is masterful comedy. Probably one of the best, it's not a sitcom, but best comedies I've ever fucking seen. The writing is unbelievable. And then, of course, the way they act the characters, it just makes the writing even better. But my God, is that a true LOL type of show.
Oh yeah, top notch, and it's one of the most wholesome shows you can watch on television. Like it is a show that has an unending, like lighthearted.
Oh my god!
Never say die spirit.
The
like,
best character is Roy.
Roy
is my hero. Like Roy,
Roy is like you.
That
are
is
Roy.
me. Like with those little girls where he's like, "You fucking suck it." He's coaching soccer. He's like, "Fucking." Oh my god. Or they put him on that show. He's like,
yeah, he just like grunts.
He's like, "Oh, tell us your opinion." That coach is like, "Yeah, give us your opinion." He's like, "Yeah, you were shit." You were shit as a manager. He's like, "Yo, not about me." Anyways.
Yeah. Oh man, it's good.
Ted Lasso, 100%. Ted Lasso time coming at you next week.
Yeah.
All right.
Next
Moving on here on the show. This is, we usually do story time with Matt to recap these comics. This one's going to be super quick. All right. So those of you that don't have a long attention span, this one will be perfect for you. Darth Vader number 15. All right. Continuing the Dark Lord's journey in 2021, as well as War of the Bounty Hunters, thanks to some crossover action. But here's my title here, The Boar Side. It was fucking terrible. It was terrible. Oh, no. This should be considered a crime against the character of Darth Vader, all right? There is nothing of value in this issue. It was a waste of my life. It was a waste of YouTube's bandwidth, YouTube's storage costs. Oof. It's just bad. Like, I mean, Nick, this issue did absolutely nothing for the Vader threads and the War of the Bounty Hunters. All it did was kind of give us some flashbacks of Vader testing Ochi with Boku the Hutt and kind of getting all this setup going on, which we've already seen play out. So not only did it do nothing interesting with the character of Vader, but it didn't even move the War of the Bounty Hunters plot an inch. In fact, it felt like it reversed it. So Oof. Darth Vader number 15, awful. Fucking terrible. Okay? There you go.
There we go.
I'll even tell you, you don't even need to watch my recap. That's how useless it is. All right? So be like everyone else and just don't watch it.
Sometimes it's a miss. That's
dude,
I mean, like,
how do you do that with Darth fucking Vader though? I mean, I was getting angry reading. I was like, where is this going? Like, what is the fucking point of? Why now? I mean, we're literally left off with Vader getting ready to hack Han Solo's corpse in half to taunt his son, and then we just rewind it a few months to show what like him and Ochi were doing to
that's such a weird ass move, dude.
Just to kind of remind everyone that cis like to fuck each other. I mean, that's all it was. Is basically Vader taking out his frustrations from Palpatine beating him up on Ochi, and then him going, "All right, I'll keep you around." It's like, all right, what a fucking waste of life. So there you go. I told you that was a quick one.
Quick hitter. There we go.
That'll make Nick happy. That definitely shaved at least 15 minutes off the show because it's just
a little bit.
There's nothing worth a shit to talk about. Darth Vader number 15. There you go. I need to catch up on the latest Afrin that whatever releases this week, but War of the Bounty Hunters has just kind of fucking stalled here towards the end of the summer, and I was loving it. But we need to move on past the fucking party hijinks and really kind of get into more of the Boba fighting the other bounty hunters and maybe Vader. I don't know, but it's gotten kind of shitty. So there's your update on that.
We'll see how it goes. This next one, though, one's pretty interesting. Matt, you found this one a couple days ago.
Yeah, I think this is another one from the man on the street. Tones 1138. I'm telling you, like you know what I should do, Nick, and this would maybe alleviate some of our concerns. And I know he wouldn't want to do it because it would require
hire a staff writer.
Yeah, I'm about ready to just fucking bring Tones on as like our main writer for the website.
So you write some of the stuff.
You post it out there.
The hosts.
All right, so
but this is a good find. Yeah,
what we're talking about, and if you're a dork like myself or Tones or whoever, fanboys, girls out there. I'm sorry for calling you dorks. I know we got to be nice to each other these days. Fuck all of you. But anyways, there's this leak going around. It's called Star Wars: The Mandalorian. All right? And there's a video out there. I'll play it while we're on the stream here. Hopefully nothing blows up. Oh, shit. That's going to blow stuff up, so I'm just going to pause that.
No.
Maybe I'll try to skip to some screens here so people can kind of see it. But anyways,
yeah, that's why I've been like, you can click through it, and then that'll probably be.
There is a fairly legit looking gameplay demo of a game where Din Djarin is the lead character. It's third person, looks like a third person action game. A lot of us were quick to be like, it's probably just a mod of Battlefront 2 and this and that and the other thing. But here's the kicker, and here's where things get a little interesting. The game, whatever the fuck this demo is running on Google Stadia.
Yeah,
Google
so I was
Stadia
actually going to comment on that.
Is not a platform known to be wide open that people can just create mods for and run them on their platform. So Nick, that's why I'm thinking real, not real, fan-made, not. The fact that it was on Stadia gives a little bit of weight to this potentially being some leaked code. Yeah.
So I definitely think it's a leak of a legit game that's being made. Stadia, here's what I'll tell you about Stadia. Stadia is an easy way for PC developers to playtest their game off of a PC, because Stadia is essentially like a cloud.
Yeah,
it's like PS Now, if you know what PS Now is. Like, it streams the game to whatever your device. So like, you plug it in, and you don't actually have to have a physical disc. You don't even have to download the game. It pulls the game from the cloud servers and just streams it to you playing. So a lot of like PC developers will use Stadia as the gameplay test. What this looks like, though, is if you've ever played any of the old Star Wars games that were like, Star Wars Episode 1, the video game. It looks like that because you can actually see on the title screen, like, we're on chapter 4, the escape.
Yeah, it's like you're reliving the adventure. And Nick, exactly. We haven't had a game like this, I think, since Revenge of the Sith. Right? I mean, they just
Revenge of the Sith.
They just quit making fucking games based on movies, which I don't blame, because, I mean, Star Wars aside, video games based on movies usually suck, and movies based on games usually suck.
Exactly.
Except Free Guy.
Yeah.
But the other ammo I had for this maybe being legit is it did not look like a mod of BF2. The animations were so different. I mean, at one point he shoots his grappling hook out and swings across, and that, I know that's not an animation used in BF2, because a lot of times what mods are, you're just kind of reskinning shit. You're not changing the core code of the game so much. You're not modeling new animations for characters.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Usually too, your HUD would be the same as your original game. This HUD is a bit different. I mean, it looks like a legit thing. Like, I do feel like this could be in development, and I mean, it's interesting to me. It's intriguing because I think a game that's based around the Mando would be really fun, but I would hope that it deviates a little bit from the path that was already set forth in the show, you know?
Yeah, I guess I could take it either way, because these days I kind of like dummy, straightforward games. I mean, sometimes open world is too open, and my OCD brain sometimes is like, I don't want to feel like if I walk down this path, I'm going to miss what's down there, and then I have to remember to come back and see what's down there. Sometimes I just like, hey, you're idiot, follow this linear path. We've got code walls in place so you can't veer off. But I think we've also heard rumors about an open world Mandalorian game.
This one looks very much on rails.
Yeah, it's old school, but it's Mando. I love Mando. It's been such a long time since I've played a game that essentially just recreates the adventure from a series or a movie. So there's a part of me that I think I would be up for just the linear, straightforward, hey, I'm reliving the adventures of Din as Din, but now I get to push the buttons and move them around. But obviously, an open world Mando would be fucking tits too. So it doesn't matter. What's
interesting is if you look at this. All right, so we see Chapter 4, the escape, whatever. So this would have to be. But if you look at it, he's got that spear on his back.
Yeah, it makes no sense. I mean, it could be
from season 2.
I mean, if it's chapter 4 of the game, okay, but it must not have many chapters because this is essentially the finale of season 2. So
exactly, yeah, you're making your way through this fucking Imperial ship.
There's definitely some suspect shit to this as well. I mean, if you look at the menu screen that Nick keeps talking about, I mean, they typically pay artists that are working on video games usually can nail down a character. And if you look at Grogu, his proportions are wonky as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, look how little his body is compared to the head. I mean, come on.
And like the thing is like what we see from this is too far along to be alpha footage. Like, alpha footage, you wouldn't have load screens.
Oh, like it's got polish. There's no fucking doubt.
Yeah,
this has polish.
If this is something that's in active development and we haven't heard about yet, then this has to be something that has been very well kept under wraps. Because this game looks almost finished. This looks. I mean, obviously, we only see about 4.5 minutes of
I mean, bro, it had voiceovers, it had menus,
Yep.
It had music, it had sound effects.
Oh yeah, I mean, like this is a fully fleshed out game. So, I mean, the thing is like there's no good time for an announcement at this point in the year. Like,
no, and EA is pretty much they've came out and said you're not going to get any fucking Star Wars anything until 2022, probably at Celebration.
Yeah, and I mean, could this be like a game from a different studio now that the exclusivity is coming to a close? Like, could this be a game that's in active development from whoever, like a different studio that's not unaffiliated with EA?
I mean, hell, dude, it could be a passion project from a crazy developer that's just used their time and their company's resources to make this shit on their on the side.
They actually do that because they have. I remember I was like at one point. I had met the guys. His name's Travis Baldry. He used to work on Diablo. I think he worked on Diablo 2, and then he kind of split off and did his own thing. And he made a game recently within the last 5 years called Rebel Galaxy. And I remember him saying that
I interviewed him at PAX a couple times. He's a good dude.
Yeah, I interviewed him once at PAX South, and then just kind of follow him on Twitter and stuff like that after that. He is a nice guy. But he mentioned that Rebel Galaxy, they were essentially building it to be a pitch for a Star Wars game.
Yeah.
And that they had like Millennium Falcon models built and all this other shit that was essentially built to make this
Did you
Star
ever play
Wars
that game? That game's actually pretty good.
It's actually it's really fun. And it's like, it doesn't like require a whole shitload of time from you or anything like that. You can kind of pop in and pop out and play. But yeah, I mean, developers will do that. They literally make shit like this just to pitch to Lucasfilm Games. And then if Lucasfilm Games says, no, we're not interested, it just goes down the toilet. Or they reskin it and they put it out as an original game.
Or they leak it on YouTube to try and get the fans riled up to get a fan movement going like OnlyFans.
That's true. It's very true.
Yeah, so, I don't know, man. I mean, I think we've analyzed it, and we've pretty much said that there's almost no way this is just some fan thing that's been cooked up. I mean, there's some thought and care put into this.
Yeah.
I hope it's real. I mean, like I said, I'm all for kind of a dumbed down, let's relive the experience Star Wars game, because it's been almost 2 decades since we've had one.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you said, the last one was the Episode 3 movie game, which came out in 2005. So it's been a long time since we had. And
from what I remember, that one really wasn't even following the movie per se. It's kind of like, for the Phantom Menace, they're like, oh, fuck it, we'll just make a game called Kenobi. And they literally just had a game set during Phantom Menace, but you were just Kenobi the whole time.
They they definitely let you stray off the path, because I know that there was like an alternate ending that you could choose to do where Anakin kills Kenobi and then Palpatine kills Yoda, and then Anakin's still full Anakin, no missing limbs, and he at the end of the game you just become Darth Vader as Anakin. Yeah, so they definitely kind of let you play around in the sandbox.
It is weird, like, to think about it. I mean, if you've been a gamer since you can remember, movie or TV show games used to be a yearly thing. But they quietly just all disappeared, like in the later 2000s, before 2010.
I think the one that really nuked it was they put out a fucking terrible Iron Man game for.
Wasn't there a really awful Avatar game too?
I think so. Yeah, it's like that. Like around that time is when like the real shitters started to come out, and then they just put the kibosh on the whole thing. They were like, "All right, we don't do these anymore."
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I would like to see it. Some sort of adaptation of the Mandalorian in video game would be perfect. I mean, I know that you can, drop them into like a Battlefront 2 game, but to actually have a Mandalorian game that plays along with the storyline and stuff like that would be.
I would take this. I would take it.
Welcome. Yeah. So
but
good stuff.
Guess we won't find out until spring of 2022? Is that when Celebration is now? So.
Yes. Is it spring or is it summer?
Well, it was supposed to be summer before the world ended, and then I think they might have rebooted it back to the spring. I don't fucking know.
We wrote about it a long time ago, but when they first announced it, it is May 26th through the 29th of 2022. So yeah, right at the beginning of
there you go,
right around the beginning of summer.
Well, fingers crossed.
We'll see what happens.
Because, like, a big fucking deal. We're going to get some Jedi Fallen Order sequels. Ooh, neat.
Yeah.
Let's swing lightsabers like broadswords, because that makes sense.
Oof. But we still got some more video game news for you.
Just quick stuff. Nothing really I mean, the shit show that is Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga continues. It's like, come on.
To be a shit show, yeah. I mean, now we have another delay on the game. The game
what are we at now?
Was
this not supposed to release in 2019?
Oh man,
that's when it was. It was announced. I believe
when it was announced. That was when it. Yeah,
but
that was when
it was
announced for like a holiday release, right?
Well, the whole Skywalker saga. Remember, coming to an end in theaters, December 2019.
Exactly.
It was literally made for the Rise of Skywalker. It's called the Skywalker Saga. And it's still not coming out. It's going to be fucking 3 years.
Yeah, it's spring 2022, and basically, I think this is the 5th delay on this game.
Oh my god!
Or the 5th announced delay, because initially, like this year, it was supposed to release in like November, December. It was supposed to be a holiday this year for sure, and then it got pushed back again. But along with the announcement of the delay, there was a new trailer that dropped, and I mean, really, there's not anything mind-blowing in this. I mean, it bounces through the 3 trilogies. It shows you the different players that you'll be able to interact with and play as. You have Anakin Skywalker you'll be able to play as, Luke Skywalker.
I mean, it looks great, but at what point in fucking time did we start needing 3? Well, hell, if you think about they were probably developing it before 2019. When did we get to the point where we need 5 years to make a Lego Star Wars game?
Yeah, I don't understand it, man. Like, I don't know if they had like a plan set out to be like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to port over all of the other ones and just kind of like touch them up and then add on this Rise stuff later. Like, I don't know.
Dude, no, I think all this is brand new. Like, I don't think they're bringing anything in from Lego Star Wars 1 and 3 or Lego Star Wars the prequels. I think the game is built from the ground up, but still we're talking,
you have all these assets already.
By the time it comes out, a general guess at its development time from me is probably 4 years or longer. It's just like, I mean, when I was talking about Mass Effect, they made Mass Effect 1 in 2007, and they got the sequel out by 2010.
Yeah.
That's a fucking game. Like, think about all the logic in that game, all the conversations, all the different paths. They got that shit done in 3 years. We can't get a fucking Lego Star Wars game done in probably 4 to 5 years. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane. But you can go see the trailer on StarWarsTime.net right now. Just search.
It did
Lego Star Wars Skywalker.
It used the music from the Tross trailer, so it did get me a little bit. I mean, but like Favreau said, they cheated. They use. I mean, anytime you bust out John's excellence on anything Star Wars, I mean, it could be like a stick figure drawing of Star Wars characters, and people like me would react to that.
Emotionally.
Absolutely.
You get that music in there, and then bingo bango, here comes the tears.
I don't know, man. It's weird. This is
yeah, it's taking this long. It's like I'll play it when it comes out, of course, because Lego Star Wars is mindless and fun and stuff like that. But it's like, holy fuck, man!
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I'll still get it. I'm still gonna get it because it'll be fun to play, and at that point, maybe Charlie will want to try out the gaming hobby. But it's just, I don't know. I've never seen a game which, on the surface, seems so simple. Takes so damn long.
No,
hey, Jedi Sith Lord 23, welcome to the party, my friend. Long time listener.
Long time listener.
Well, yeah, you should have like, yeah, there you go. Long time, first time. Nick knows what I'm talking about. Anyone else that listens to talk shows, do you want to just reach through whatever device you're listening on and punch them in their faces? I do.
You didn't need to say.
Anytime someone calls up to Stern, I bet he's probably like, why did you just waste those 10 seconds? Long time, first time. It's like, who gives a shit? You're fucking caller on a radio show. But
we're not saying that about you.
No, we give a shit, Jedi Sith Lord. We're just making fun of people on the radio. We love our fans. Yeah. All right, I'll take this one here. This is just more of a PSA. I promised Nick I would not eat up time on
play this game
on shit that he thinks is stupid. But just out of the blue, I don't know if anyone's been paying attention to this game, but I might be the only one. But I have. But this Lego Star Wars battle was literally canceled last month. Servers shut down. Beta ran for 2 years. It's gone. And Lego Star Wars Battle it's an RTS mobile game. Real-time multiplayer. It seems like it's going to have some light tower defense elements, but you get characters, you build them up, you send them against another team, and hopefully you win. Then out of the blue, yesterday, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, it's coming to Apple Arcade soon. I was like, okay. So me, who was somewhat excited to try out another mobile Star Wars game, because I still just play SWTS, I was kind of, all right, I'll give it a try. I have a free year of Apple Arcade through Verizon. I am an iOS user. So I'll be checking this out, but it's more for those of you out there that may have had this game on your radar or you were playing it and the servers got shut down. Well, it's coming back, but it's only coming back to Apple Arcade, which is kind of a bummer for you Android people. But for those of you that hate mobile games and paywalls and whatnot, the one nice thing about Apple Arcade is that your monthly fee essentially allows for games to be fully unlocked and playable once you download them. So there you go. Lego Star Wars Battle coming to Apple Arcade soon. If you use the links in our post, you can kind of do that and remind me or notify me when it actually goes live. But there is a listing for it in the App Store currently.
Interesting.
All right. It's toy time, my friends, and we actually have some interesting ones this week. Still don't know if I'm going to shell out some cash, but we got some SH Figure Arts reveals last week in the form of Neo Boba Fett with the repaint. How'd he paint it? That guy. And a full Beskar Din Djarin with no helmet figure from Figure Arts. If you're familiar with Figure Arts, they're higher end Black Series figures. You know what I mean?
So is this like the 50th full Beskar Mando, 60th
there you go.
full Beskar Mando?
I think Nick, even though he's a non-collector, is starting to get just how fucking crazy shit has gone with The Mandalorian and how many of the same figure we can actually get. So yeah, Nick, this would be their second release of the Season 2 Mando, but this one has the correct thigh pad because for some reason all of the original Season 2 Mandos must have been going off of some old concept art because he still has an old thigh pad. So now that has given all these people the green light to do another version of essentially the same character, albeit with a different thigh pad. I think this one comes with the spear and, of course, Pedro's face.
Yep.
But yeah, it's getting ridiculous. I will say, though, the Neo Boba is definitely tickling my taint a little bit. I think it looks
clean.
Yeah,
it looks
exactly.
Clean.
That's
the only thing that looks wonky to me is that chain code edition. Like, do you think that looks a little funky?
Yeah,
like the way that it's like designed, it almost looks like there's like fire coming out from.
Yeah, I think they were trying to go for the full effect as best they could, but yeah, trying to get that those characters to suspend in midair, I don't think they had a better option than just slap on a big thing of plastic and cut it up.
Yeah, yeah. But other than that, I mean, it looks clean.
Yeah, I think the Boba looks fresh as fuck, and I'm really trying to stop collecting this scale just because how far off the deep end I've gone on the hot toy side of things, but I might have to throw the Boba Fett into the cart. I don't even know if he's up for pre-order yet. Anyone in the stream chat know if he's up for pre-order? I haven't seen it, at least. But they're out there. I mean, like I said, when I put this up there was 0 details. Typically, Figure Arts, to get them over here to the States, you're looking minimum $70 to $80. I don't think either one of these are exclusive, so you should be able to get them from most of those overseas retailers. I mean, even BBTS typically sells some Figure Arts, but Ami Ami, Nin Game, Premium Bandai, Kurama, stuff like that. So I think I'm with Trevor. I might be going with this Boba Fett, but Din 2.1.1.1 can go fuck himself at this point in time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the thigh pad is not reason enough to buy it.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, that it's literally, Nick. It's that and the spear, I believe, are the big differences. Yeah. Maybe the baby in the bag, insane. But I mean, who gives a shit?
So insane. But hey, yeah, you're right though. The Boba looks clean. So
all right, Trevor's saying 16 is saying September 3rd. We should maybe get some pre-order stuff for these Boba Fett from Mando and Mando from Mando Figure Arts figures.
Nice.
And this just came out like last night or today, Nick, and this may even interest you. But this set,
this is cool looking shit.
This set, man, you know my thoughts on the original Ronin Din Djarin. Yeah. I was like, fuck that. I didn't like it. It was, he was in his brown armor. It wasn't full Beskar. He looked kind of bulky. We're talking about the movie realization line from Tamahashi Nations, the Maisho movie realization, where they take Star Wars characters and re-envision them as samurai or Ronin. They look fantastic. I mean, these are, like I said, I could even see young Nick potentially wanting to set one of these up on his shelf because they're different.
I do like this, man. Like, I'm a big fan of Eastern culture, Japanese culture in particular, and like to have a little Grogu with the top knot. It's like, wow,
it's so great. So yeah, so I passed on the first Ronin Din. I didn't like it. Like I said, he felt bulkier than usual. I have all the other ones, so I'm a legit collector of this line. But when I saw this new one, which is full Beskar Mando with Grogu, as Nick said, I mean, Grogu is in his own little like samurai robe, and he's got a fucking hair bun. Like, that's it right there. And the best part is, there's a fucking wooden stroller for Din to push him in. I mean, this is one of the greatest reveals I have seen in 2021 for a Star Wars action figure. I mean, as the stream is blowing up right now, we are all in love with this new reveal from the movie realization line of full Beskar Din with his little homeboy in a wood stroller pram, complete with samurai hair bun. I mean, look at this guy. Look at him.
This one is far, like, I agree with you. This one, just in the Din sculpt alone, is far better than the original release. And adding in the I would buy the Grogu by itself if that was an option. I mean, it's just
that's what on the live stream. I just have a huge picture of this warrior Grogu where he's got an arm up. It's almost like he's doing a force choke. I mean, some could say he's reaching out lovingly, but I'm going to go with the dark side take. It's like he's like, hey, you looking at me funny? I'm going to snap your trachea. But he looks perfect as a little, I mean, what is he, a little Ronin too? Can you have two Ronins? I thought Ronin are only one. I mean,
I guess if it was like I think in this case it would count because their entire well,
a lot of people in the community are calling it the Lone Wolf and Cub set.
Okay, yeah, I buy that too. What would have been even like just a little bit of extra would just to give him like a tiny katana, like right on his hip.
Yeah, like a little knife or something.
Yeah. just a tiny sword.
Or
That
you know,
would've
like
been
some
so
little
perfect.
chopsticks and a fly, you know, because he always likes to eat shit, or like a frog or something.
Yep.
But
That would have been it.
As you can see, Nick, in the live stream comments, everyone else is kind of with us on this one. I mean, this is going to be a must buy for me, and kind of like those figure arts figures. There's really nothing at this point in time. When we get details, I'm sure we'll either blow it up on Instagram or we'll talk about it on the show. But after skipping brown armor din, poopy din, I am definitely fully behind this new set featuring Ronin full Beskar din and Grogu with man bun.
Yeah,
fantastic.
I support your purchase of this because
Thank you.
it's a good one.
I've actually been really good at not buying toys. I don't think I've made a pre-order or a buy in over a month. It's just even the stuff I was talking about, like the Mando Luke and some of that. I haven't even touched that. It's just, I'm not saying the hobby is fully dead on me, but I just these days, even if I get free time, my mind goes to maybe I'll play Mass Effect 2, a game from 11 years ago, versus getting my mind ready to go do a toy shoot. And yes,
hey, man.
If you're watching on camera, I was just scratching my ass crack. Thank you.
I mean, that's all for the toys and the topics for today. So that's going to roll us right into our fan segment for this week.
That's right. And we got question of the week back. Before we get into this, Nick, I do want to talk about something real quick.
Okay.
Because last week I kind of fucked this up. Friends, autumn is in the air. Pumpkins are in the patch, and our friends at Manscaped are here to make sure you don't carve your pants pumpkins when you're grooming, if you know what I'm saying. Make sure you're keeping things fresh this fall with the leaders in male grooming in their brand new 4th generation performance package. Boys, get ready for a cuffing season like no other. Ready to take the leap into fall with Manscaped? Join the 2 million men worldwide using Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code SWTS. All right, you've heard Nick and I talking about this performance package all summer long. We're huge fans of it, we're supporters of it, and we are regular users of it. My favorite is the ball deodorant. That's something I just lathered on my sack before the show today. And in fact, if I waft right here, see me wafting on camera, I get a very pleasant smell thanks to that ball deodorant. But I also credit that pleasant smell to the fact that I'm keeping my weeds whacked down there, so when it gets hot and steamy in the crotch, it's not festering like a swamp, right? And we do that by using the new Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer. All right, how's your trimming been going? Did you take it to Denver and trim?
I did not, but I did a very close shave pre-trip, so it lasted me. I did take some of my grooming supplies, though. I did take my ball deodorant. What is it called? The crop preserver. No,
I really think there is the ball deodorant, which is the cream, and then the Reviver is the spray, I believe.
The Reviver is the spray. So I took the actual cream with me just to stay fresh, because we're going to go on hikes and stuff like that.
And it's anti-chafing. You know, it's kind of like putting some WD-40 on your balls.
Exactly. Yeah, a little to a certain degree. Yeah, I had the Manscaped underwear with me, so I was whipping those during one of our hikes, and they were super comfortable.
They are great.
Did not get any sort of chafing, and those were the two. I still maintain. I know that Manscaped is all about the below the waist grooming. Just give me a stick deodorant. And then that way, my whole
you'll be fully covered in the Manscaped scent. I'm with you, but hey, people, it's time to bundle up with Manscaped's Performance Package 4.0, because inside this package you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, that's what we were just talking about, the Crop Reviver toner, that's the spray, and of course the Performance Boxer briefs like Nick just mentioned. And don't forget, you even get a travel bag to hold all these goodies in. All right, so the Performance Package 4.0 includes the lawnmower, it includes the Weed Whacker, and all of those ball treating goods that we just discussed. All right. And don't forget the free gifts if you decide to pick up the Performance Package 4.0 in the form of the boxers and the travel bag. All right, so remember, get 20% off plus free shipping with the code SWTS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code SWTS at manscaped.com. Make your balls a priority this fall. Choose Manscaped. Your balls will thank you. And so will we. Just to kind of give you guys a little peek behind the curtain, we are on thin ice. So if anyone needs to reload their Manscaped products, even if it's ball wipes, the preserver, the toner, we could really use your support in September. Without saying it, let's just say if we don't do well this month, we are done with Manscaped, which will probably be good for those of you that don't like listening to the ads. But if you do like us and you like the fact that we are sponsored, we could really use SWTS Nation to get out there and make a few buys using SWTS at manscaped.com. And besides, you also get free shipping. So there you go.
Free shipping worldwide. That means you guys down in the fake land of Australia.
Yep.
The semi-fake
Singapore,
land of New
I think,
Zealand.
was on there now. I don't think our friends in Philippines can do it, but who knows?
I know.
Give it a try. Give it a try.
Maybe they'll expand over to it. And especially for those UK fans, I feel like we're more popular in the UK than anywhere else. Maybe we just needed to move to the UK and just set up home base there.
Yeah, hey, Jared. Yeah, definitely get on the ball deodorant. Like, this is no joke. This is Matt telling you it is one of the greatest things I've added to my male grooming routine.
It's it's super legit, and like I use it all the time.
Here,
I think Matt and I have both said it. Like,
you know where my hand's at right now. Okay, you see what's happening. All right.
Oh God, we're gonna get banned.
Fresh. That's all I can say.
There you go.
None of that
no,
from Mando.
It's actually really good stuff. Like, I'm very impressed with all their products.
Yeah, no joke there. We're not shills. We definitely believe in the products. I actually need to. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to reorder some of the body wash. I've used almost my whole.
So the good thing
jar.
is that like before they sent us body wash, I actually bought body wash from them. So
there you go. You were already
the second bottle. Yeah.
Nick's like, I am the president of the fan club, but I'm also a customer.
Yeah. But so it's good stuff. Support SWTS at checkout.
Pretty pleased. But hey, now it's time for your segment, fans. You know, we asked you for a little help. Now it's time to honor you for said help. This week, the fan question of the week did return. I sound like Porky the Pig. Nick, I don't know. I mean, I don't expect you to listen or watch full shows that you're not a part of, but did you happen to hear that we have a fan that wants to do a giveaway with us, and they're going to provide 3 unopened vintage collection Mandalorian figures for us to give away on our platforms? I don't know if you, I mean, of course I could have just told you this in our Slack, but.
I watched, so far, like I've watched the first 20 minutes of the interview with Jax.
Trust me, I don't blame you. But here's kind of the Cliff's notes. This awesome dude, fellow Pittsburgher. I mean, I don't know him outside of the show and IG, but he just hit us up. He's like, hey, I like you guys. I want all these fucking figures. I don't want to be a gluttonous collector. I want to give back. I was like, wow, that's pretty fucking great. And he wants us to do it. So we were kind of spitballing last week on the best way to do this. I obviously want to do the final drawing or the selection on the show itself during the fan segment. But what I need you for, and to take the lead on, is how do we generate entries that are going to benefit the show? I mean, let's be real. We want to do giveaways to draw more eyes to YouTube in particular for the streams. And Instagram, even though we typically have good growth on there anyways. But we got to think of a fun way, not just random drawings, because I think Work More or Less has a point where we should almost create a challenge, a Star Wars art challenge, right? Where, you know, we create a hashtag in addition to our usual one for this giveaway, let it go for a certain amount of weeks, right?
Yep.
And then on the show, I'm thinking maybe you and I kind of pick our top 5 or whatever. And then maybe do an online poll for those that want to watch or tune in to choose the ultimate winner. Either way, all I know is at the end, I want to do the giveaway on the stream itself.
Yeah.
Getting there, I'm going to leave that up to you to fill in those gaps.
Yeah. I don't know if we leave it up to the audience for the ultimate giveaway.
Okay.
But I do like the idea of an art challenge.
All right.
Because that is what, a lot. And hey, look, if we do an art challenge, if that's what we settle on and you're not an artist, here's what I recommend, and maybe we kind of rethink it to where it's not completely art focused, but it doesn't just put anything in there, because it doesn't have to be good for us to choose it. It just has to be something that attracts us, that we think is funny, that we think is cool, or something like that. Like, you don't have to be like super scoundrel and fucking make a beautiful piece of vector art.
Or do like, a Sir Dork toy shot. So maybe maybe it's more like use whatever medium, whatever way you want to kind of explain why you love Star Wars, right? Or we could get super narcissistic, why you love the Star Wars Time Show.
So I was leaning towards like, maybe we do something to where it's like, get creative to describe a funny moment from the Star Wars Time Show.
Yeah, you could either make art of it, a toy scene, or do like like your own video talking about it, something like that.
Yeah. Anything like that. I think that would be fun. Is like, tell us in your own way, whether it be through art, through a video, through a picture, or whatever, one of your favorite moments from the Star Wars Time Show. I think that's what we'll go with.
All right. I like that. We'll try to flesh it out a bit more offline. We'll take it to the parking lot, as they say in corporate America.
Oh, gosh.
But yeah, let's be real. Full disclosure, I wanted to get more eyes on the show. So there's got to be a way to loop people in. We may have to start on Instagram, but like, hey, if you want to get involved, tag 2 friends and leave a comment. So it kind of drives the algo on Instagram to get the word out to more people. But ultimately, the winner will be chosen on the show based on a submission of some sort. And I think Nick's right. I think it should be kind of around your fandom for the show and how you want to express it. And if it's in a negative way, you could do that too. I mean, you could take a picture of me and light it on fire and say, that's my favorite part of the show when Matt dies. That would be completely acceptable, and it might be a winner.
Print up our logo and just show a stream of urine hitting it or something. All right. Who knows?
Okay, so we'll try to, there you go, Bat. That works. We'll try to get something a little more official together in between now and next show. The main details are more than likely going to be going out on Instagram, because that is our largest platform. That's where we get our biggest reach. And I'm thinking that's where we kind of set up the contest, what you need to do, what hashtags you need to use, and how many tags you need to do within the comments section just to juice the algo. Then from there, we'll let it go a few weeks, and then we'll have a whole segment dedicated to it on the stream this fall. I think it could be fun.
Yeah, that could be fun. So yeah, we'll whip something up around that.
And then down the road, I might just do a generic giveaway, like a let's just get followers giveaway for my Jackson, which I was like, why the fuck did I buy this again? Haven't taken it out of the box. Not going to take it out of the box. So this guy is definitely going up for a giveaway in the future. Because it does seem at this point we're going to have to start doing some of the thumb up the butt gimmick shit to get more people to check out the show, which is fine. Nick, we're going to be 3 years old in November already, so we've gotten stale. We've gotten stale, and the numbers have proven it. But that's kind of what we're planning for our first official giveaway. All right?
Yeah.
We've thought about Twitch, but really the way to get shit streaming to multiple platforms, it's too big of a pain in the ass. So we've kind of backed off on that, right? Didn't you looked into Twitch, Nick? Didn't you?
I mean, there's like a plugin that you can use for OBS that allows you to stream to multiple different sources.
Right.
But I don't know, since you run the stream through your PC.
I remember
or
it was like
your Mac.
Yeah, it was either like the fucking plugins weren't supported for Mac, they were outdated, or you had to do like the head tapping and tummy rubbing in a circle to get it to work. And I was just like, for how small of a show we are, I just like, how much bending over backwards do I have to do to try to get people to watch?
I will say that if we did stream on Twitch, and that if all of our current viewers now just watched us on Twitch, we would be able to hit affiliate pretty easily, and that would give us a subscribe button where people could choose to give us money if they wanted to. But then we would have to kill the streams on YouTube because we wouldn't be.
It's something, maybe
maybe down the road.
If I feel like it one day, is because the kid is back in kindergarten at least till I'm thinking it gets shut down.
I mean, we have a Twitch channel because I've already made that. So.
We've been thinking about it.
Yeah, it's come up in conversation before. So this is definitely not the first time that we've mentioned Twitch.
And yes, Bat, we understand there's probably not a lot of 3.75 collectors out there, but a giveaway is a giveaway. All right, so
hey, bud,
you don't have to. You don't have to enter if you're offended by that scale. I mean, honestly, something that would make my life a lot easier. I should just start wheeling all of this shit on my table in front of the camera and be like, giveaway. If you get 1,000 people to sub to YouTube, I'll give you my Djarin hot toys. If you get another 1,000, you can have the heavy hot toys. There you go. That's when I'll start giving away big shit. Like if people can promise me thousands of subs for that type of prize, we'll talk. All right.
There we go. There we go. All right.
Okay, so let's actually get in this fan segment. Let's get the fuck out of here. We did bring back the fan question of the week. Let me switch to the right screen, and then we're off to the races. So this week, the question prompt was, what was your favorite moment or reveal from the BTS episode about bringing Luke Skywalker to Mando? And, we didn't get a ton, but we got some very thoughtful responses from a few of you.
First one was a very thoughtful response from Connor Tierney.
Yeah, so I'll take this long one, Nick, and then you can peel through the rest.
I'll take the rest.
All right, so this comes from Connor, Mr. Press Pause, fan of the show, and we are a fan of his work. So here we go. It was a small thing, but there was a shot of Mark as Luke holding Grogu, then looking over his shoulder as R2 rolls in. There was something about that moment that got to me. The looks of familiarly on Luke's face. The nonchalantness of it all was so heartwarming. Luke looked over as if to say, well, about time you rolled up. Like they were old buddies. Such a small gesture. That's something that Frank Oz used to say about Mark. We believe all this crazy stuff is real because Mark believes it. Seeing that BTS made it feel like these guys caught lightning in a bottle. Like this special moment was almost too perfect, as if by accident. That's what makes it so special. To see these people who clearly care so deeply about Star Wars put so much into that moment. And what a special thing it is. As an aside, I would 100% watch that episode with the non-de-aged Luke. Don't even have to add the effects. Just throw the green screen Mark in there. He looked great in those robes.
He did. He looked real good.
So there you go.
Yeah, I feel like Star Wars in general is just like a lightning in a bottle kind of situation. If you didn't have those actors at that time and everything else that went into it, then Star Wars could literally be like a footnote in a 1977 movie release magazine.
I mean, I still contend to this day, if you don't have John Williams, it's a footnote. Actors or not, I really think the first one in particular. I mean, his music and that blah, right when the logo comes at you. I mean, that sucks people in right from the get go. All right, you got 100%. The rest, man.
All right, Real Rio Rex says two things. First, he says, seeing Filoni and Favreau talk about how much they love Star Wars as us fans do, and how they appreciate the respect Star Wars lore and fans deserve when making new Star Wars content. And then he says, also hearing Favreau talk about seeing R2 on set as I was being tough until that moment in the finale. But when I heard the beeps, I lost it.
It happens, man.
That's the little robots bring out those emotions in you.
That glob
TBS
of grease,
data,
right? Was C-3PO calm? You glob of
bucket
grease.
Of bolts.
Bucket of bolts.
Yeah. TBS Data Vault says the re-speech effect to recreate Hamill himself's vocal patterns and speech was mind-blowing. I thought they just cleaned up his vocal recordings. I actually did too, because I think when we talked about the finale during the episode where it actually aired, I was like, wow, they actually cleaned his speech up really well, and I was unsure if they had I thought they put it through like a mixer of some sort.
Nope, they used the machines, bro. Fucking Skynet did this one. I mean, essentially, Skynet should have been credited for Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian.
Pretty much. Done by T-1000.
Okay, who's next here?
2797
Mr. Bat himself.
He says, the whole thing, in my humble opinion, it was a love letter to the character of Luke and the actor and Mark. I've always been a Luke guy, and I was in tears by the end. Seeing him with Grogu and hearing how far they went to keep it a secret, loved the whole thing. Yeah, I mean, to me, this was even more of a love letter to Mark than it was to Luke, because we know now, watching it, we know they could have done that whole fucking thing without him being there. The fact that they went to the lengths that they did to get him on set and to have his input and have him there, that just goes to show you that it's not necessarily about Luke, it's about Mark and who he is to us and who he is to John and Dave.
Didn't you feel like they kind of looked at him as the Godfather? Like they had to go to him and be like, hey, Godfather, we want to use Luke. What do you say?
And the funny thing is yeah, no, go ahead.
He's like, oh, yes, you will have a masculine child, stuff like that. But it's almost like it's even beyond royalty. It's like he's at Lucas's level, right? In terms of the respect and the care that they approached him with about this role in Mando.
Absolutely. I mean, they basically said oh yeah, we went to his house and we pitched it to him and we were nervous because if he said no, then we weren't going to do it.
Right.
And that's the level that it was at, because they knew they could do it without him. But they were still if he says no, we can't do it. I mean, and that's pretty powerful, to do that. So good stuff. Next up is brown bottle flu. You know what that means, everybody? You know what comes in a brown bottle and makes you sick? It's the alcohol. That's a good name.
I love it.
Honestly, the most shocking reveal for me was seeing Dave Filoni without his hat on. Who knew he had such luscious curly hair?
I like this one.
I mean, honestly, that was good. Because when's the last time you saw Dave without a cowboy hat?
Or just a hat in general. He's kind of like me, but
wears a cap. Yeah.
I need to wear hats. Nick needs to wear hats. We're fucking bald, but Mr. Shits here is 100% on. I mean, Dave, you call it the pandemic curls or whatever, but he really does have quite a head of hair, and he let that thing grow when he was locked up. Oh,
he did. So that was the end of the question of the week. One thing I want to add in, because I forgot to add this in just in the bullshit segment, but so Taylor right now is in Italy visiting her parents, and she's in Lake Como. She's at Lake Como in Italy.
Dude, did she just make it before they rebanned us from going to Europe?
She left on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, then she did, because I believe it was maybe yesterday or Monday. The EU just said, yeah, fuck you, dirtbags. You're not allowed back over here anymore.
They flagged us. So, but what's significant about Lake Como is Lake Como is where the
sand.
Exactly. The sand scene was that big palace, that palace.
It's rough course and irritating.
Yeah. That is at Lake Como, and she went to a gift shop that they have there, and they have all the Star Wars merch. And one picture she sent me was the marriage scene between Anakin and Padme.
Did you ask her? Do they do any tourist shit for that for Star Wars fans there still, or no?
I don't think they do tours, but they do have like a plaque for the particular location.
So you could probably find a site there, be like, hey, I want to find the Attack of the Clones locations, and they probably have them marked, and you could go to it, right?
Yeah. So she was like, I think she like took a picture of the building and like went to the gift shop and stuff like that. And they like talked.
That's the old Nibiri family or summer home location, right?
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Padme's family's joint.
I thought that was cool. You guys might like that. That my girlfriend is literally at the Padme.
I just like that she's trolling
tree.
You over the Attack of the Clones.
Funny thing is like. She's like, this is what she said to me. She says, I've been to more Star Wars filming locations than you. How does that feel? You're basically a fake fan.
Look at this. See, a lot, these people, they don't know Taylor. I mean, Taylor could kick Nick's ass physically and now mentally. So I like it.
So we went back and forth. And I told her she hasn't seen the prequels because like we watched the OT and then we watched the sequels. And I told her, I was like, you don't even know what movie that's from.
Right.
And she's like, I do too. Well, this is where Anakin got married.
You should sell it. You'd be like, hey, it's the best. I'll tell you what, I just watched AOTC. I think, I was talking to Jason about last week. Whatever. I was probably drinking on a Saturday night. We're bringing out the big screen. I'm like, Attack of the Clones! For some reason, when I, have some beers, I get very Star Wars nostalgic. And this summer in particular, I've really wanted to just watch Star Wars movies on the weekends. But this, I kind of had a little bit of a push to watch it again, thanks to the end of Bad Batch and the destruction of Kamino and all the stuff we learned about Kamino from that series. And I'm not gonna lie, Nick, when Kenobi got to Kamino, it did have a whole new feel because you're thinking like Omega's there. Nala Se is probably hanging out with Omega. I wonder if Omega and Boba ever crossed paths and didn't know that they were the same clone. And then the rest of the movie plays out and you're like, holy shit, what the fuck is this? But it does, I mean, kind of even like Revenge of the Sith and prequels in general for me, with time and with cartoons, all things can be fixed. Mm-hmm. But hey, in the end, I'm really starting to kind of like Attack of the Clones as a fun, silly Star Wars movie. It's
I was just gonna say, like, you have to.
It's the visuals, you got some great visuals, you got some silliness, and it's just like, all right, it's just a very different type of film, and the acting's not great at all, but I don't know, it's growing on me. It really is. Good old AOTC. All right, dude, let's get into the fan segment so we can the top 5, so we can shut things down here. Just real quick, if you are new to the show or new to this segment, every week Nick chooses 5 Star Wars artists to feature on the live stream, and he pulls them from a pool of content that I curate throughout the week on Instagram. So if you want to get involved, follow Star Wars Time Show on Instagram. Tag us in all of your Star Wars content, art or not art. You never know what's going to kind of pique our interest or my eye. And then use hashtag Star Wars Time Show. So throughout the week, I'll be featuring stuff on the account. And then on Monday, Nick picks his favorite 5 and lays them down for the live stream. And that is what we're going to talk about right now. So we're talking about the top 5 Star Wars featured artists of the week, 8:23 to 8:30. Nick, let's do it.
All right. First up is somebody that I mentioned earlier in the show. Speaking of his artistry prowess, this is at super_scoundrel. Devin, our good friend, makes it again. And with this shot here, so Matt, I don't know if he was just like, if this is like a Din reskin or a Din recolor, but what we have is like a fully black armored Mandalorian. And it just looks so cool because it's like you're so used to seeing Mandalorians with like, with different colored armor and stuff like that. Right. Yeah.
Here's my take. I don't think it's Din. I think it's just a Mando. But the helmet, Nick, to me is inspired from the Mandalorians that teamed up with the Imperials, like Gar Saxon's faction. Yeah, like the Imperial Commandos, I think is what they called them. Yeah. But to me, what kind of stands out as being wildly different is the pistol. Because, I mean, it looks like a straight up gun from our world.
Yeah, it looks like a real gun.
I mean, I'm not well versed in handguns. I mean, it kind of looks like a 45, maybe. I don't know. Like, I mean, what are you looking at here? Those people that are into guns and all the models. I just have a SIG. I know it shoots bullets and can kill people. I don't really know all the models and what they look like, but I just dig seeing a normal handgun in the hands of a Mandalorian. It looks natural. It almost
just like this. It feels grittier.
Yeah,
you know,
like they're even more badass by wielding a real life earthly handgun.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty. I just thought it was a really fucking cool concept that Devin came up with, like taking these characters that were already badass, doing like almost like a full matte black kind of paint over on it, and then giving him that, like you said, that more realistic type of pistol.
Yeah, that pistol just looks mean. You know, it just looks like, if we don't need fucking laser bolts, I'm going to put slugs through your head.
Yeah, I mean, it was fucking
execution style, like, you know, mafia execution, on your knees, back of the skull, tap, tap. Yeah, I'm with you there, Jedi Sith Lord. I forgot about that. This is definitely reminiscent of what Boba did in War of the Bounty Hunters to disguise who he was, to try and get Han Solo fixing carbonite when he repainted his armor all matte black. And I think he showed us in that comic, and now Super Scoundrel is showing us here. Mando's in all black look fucking fantastic.
Indeed, they do. Yep. At super_.
Yeah, he's at Galaxy's Edge right now. He told me, he's like, "Oh, I'm not going to be there. I'm at Galaxy's Edge," which looks fucking dead, by the way. Is that the case? Anybody?
Yeah, I mean,
I guess Nick will find out in a couple months.
Yeah, because I'll be there in November. Right now, I think that the way that you have to do it is you have to book your parks on specific days. So previously, I mean, you know, anybody who's gone to Disney knows that.
Well, he's also going to he's going to the California one, so it's going to have probably even more restrictions than
Florida for sure.
The cesspool down there.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it is like that would help. They're basically doing that to help control the population in each park, and when it reaches a certain point, you can no longer book to get into.
I you know, I'm on Instagram going through stories, and he threw up some videos right when he got in there. I mean, it looked empty, which is fucking fantastic. I mean, who would not want to go to a Star Wars park with limited amounts of people? It's great.
Yeah, nobody else there.
Humans suck. Humans suck. Humans suck. Say it with me. Humans suck. Humans suck. All right, up next.
All right, up next is KC Whitey Toys. KC.WHITEEE Toys.
Oh, you called him a Whitey? Is that what you just said?
Whitey Toys. So what we got here is
it's a fun shot.
It's a fun shot. Yeah, exactly. It's a fun shot. And we have a first order trooper on a dirt bike zooming away from an explosion in the background that has clearly blown up one of his comrades. But it was actually, when I saw this, I was like, oh man, it's a cool Sir Dork shot. And then I opened it up and it wasn't Sir Dork. And I was like, damn, this is pretty fun. So yeah, it's just like first order trooper on a dirt bike, doing a wheelie, riding away from an explosion in the background that caught his comrade in the line of fire.
I don't know what it is, but whenever you incorporate real life objects sometimes into the toy photography, it can really make the shot. And that's the case here with KC Whitey Toys shot. It just, the way he got the dirt bike to pop the wheelie while the figure's balancing, the figure's got his gun up. He's only holding on to the bike with one hand. It gives it a very natural looking pose. So obviously there is a story being told. The characters feel alive. And even though a dirt bike in Star Wars makes zero sense, it makes sense in this shot, which means it was a well executed shot.
Exactly.
So I always like Star Wars humor. I always like humorous setups like this. But as someone that has farted around in this hobby, I also appreciate when a setup is executed well. And getting any of these little dickheads to balance on any other little piece of plastic is a feat in and of itself. So kudos to KC Whitey Toys here.
There we go. At KC, the letter K, the letter C, WHITEEETOYS on Instagram. Very fun setup there, my friend. Well done. Next up, this is a very fitting image for the episode that we're on. This
Nick,
is
I'll tell you, before you get into this, we got a lot, as the community does. Anytime they learn something new from new Star Wars, they jump on it, because we got a lot of similar shots to this that you're about to introduce.
There we go. And this one here is from Betty Ione _SW. And as Matt was saying, this is a new thing. So what we see is Plo Koon holding little baby Grogu, just like Luke did in the finale episode of season 2 of The Mandalorian. You even have R4 there in the background. I like that addition to it, the R4 unit in the background. But this is what could have happened.
I mean, not to be a complete nerd, but I think that's R5.
R5. Oh, yeah.
I'm such a tool. I am a tool. But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of people in the community last week, and there might even popping up this week that latched on to Plo Koon was the placeholder for Luke and Mando. And I mean, we even had, I think it's BAC Customs, even made a custom Plo Koon based on the concept art that was shown in that behind the scenes documentary already. Like, it's already out. They already got the pictures out there. I believe we shared it. So as always, the community here, the Star Wars artist community, they never rest. And they turn around shit the moment that they learn something new, or the moment they see a new cool scene, if it is at one of the live action shows. And that's no different with at Betty Ione _SW did here with this Plo shot.
Nah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful stuff. I love the lighting she got. It just feels like a vibrant, colorful shot. So beautiful work at Betty Ione _SW. Next up, we have at Mr.Jedi, and this is a completely different direction from the last one. This is a wartime buddy shot, if you've ever seen one. So there's 2 roasted stormtroopers, one stormtrooper, one scout trooper, and the stormtrooper is attempting to sling the scout trooper over his back and walk him off of this smoldering battlefield. This is, I mean, again, like, this is one of those like wartime shots that really, it shows you a side of Star Wars war, like the war part of Star Wars, that you never really got to see in the actual films. The only time you got to see it was like in some select scenes from animated, and in the very brief scenes from Solo, where you saw the battles going down.
Oh yeah, cool, because Stormtrooper, they were just cannon fodder, right? I mean, the rebels killed millions of them on the Death Star, so they're expendable. But in the artist community, they have humanized the bucket heads, and that's what Mr. Jedi is doing here. I mean, they may be assholes that were either conscripted or willingly joined the Empire, as we're learning, but they have feelings too. They have emotions. Yeah. These could have been, what the fuck, the boot camp buddies, right? One went into the scout trooper division after boot camp, the other one into the ground forces of the stormtroopers, and they are in the battle together. And homeboy got taken out, so the stormtrooper is wheeling his friend off on his back. But it's another one. Like I said, anytime you get these little cocksuckers to behave for you and actually balance other cocksuckers on them, and they still stay standing upright. I mean, I don't know if there was poles being used or whatnot. That is that's an accomplishment right there. And I also think Mr. Jedi has taken off a lot of time from the hobby, and this was kind of their return. So it was good to see them back on the platform and remembering to tag us so we could see their return to the platform.
There you go. Thank you for tagging us. Amazing shot at Mr.Jedi. Good comeback. And then the last one in the top 5 this week is a really cool scene recreation from at Mr. Stormtrooper Davis from ROTJ. So we see the whole crew, the whole ROTJ crew. They're on Endor. You can even see Chewbacca there in the background. So you have Han, Luke, Leia, R2.
Oh shit! I just now noticed Bacca when you pointed that out.
I was gonna say he's so hidden there in the back that it's hard to see, but he is there behind that tree stump, and they're ducking behind some of the trees, and they're scouting out.
Yeah, they're doing some recon, right? I mean, it's This could have been before, Han did his big "I got this" move and steps on a twig and fucks everything up, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I just thought it was a really well done scene recreation. I love the atmospheric effects that he put in to kind of like match that like kind
great.
of humid,
I mean, this is
feeling.
as like a natural toy photography shot as it gets. I mean, out in the woods, looks like used natural light, maybe corrected it a bit in post. But for the most part, I know Mr. Stormtrooper Davis usually does full-on BTSs or videos, so I'm sure we could figure this out. But it looks like this is all practical, all outdoors, probably tweaked C-3PO's lights in post. But that's about it. I just like the scene. I have this set of figures. They've been sitting in a drawer since last year, so I don't know if I'll ever shoot them. But people like at Mr. Stormtrooper Davis have used them wisely in shots like this.
Yeah.
It's a perfect shot for the Return of the Jedi kitted rebels. I'm talking about Luke, Leia, and Han. They've all got their, the twins got their ponchos on. Han's got his duster. It's just good. I mean, it's just a good looking shot, like almost movie still type of shot.
Yeah, yeah. And then he does have a BTS on his feed too. If you look at the shot, like the post that he put up right after the shot, it's like, it's real ass wood from what I can tell, and it's just natural light, him out there with his camera snapping the shot. So I mean, it's just a beautiful job by at Mr. Stormtrooper Davis. Well done. And there it is, everybody. That's the end of the top 5 for this week, and that's the end of our show for this week.
Woohoo! All right, well, if it's the end of the show, you know what time it is. It's time for StarWarsTime.net. That's right, our home base, where you can find all the content that we talk about on the show. We tried to do things a little bit quicker for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I don't know, we're still 30 minutes maybe too long. But I think there was a lot of stuff to talk about that we might not have thought was worth talking about. But in the end, StarWarsTime.net, if you're new here, this is the best place to go to get connected to the show outside of the live stream. So content lives here, but all of our jump off links. So if you want to get on the podcast, even if you watch the live stream, maybe you want to download the audio only version on Wednesdays, going to StarWarsTime.net is the best place to do that because we have all of the links for you. What we will ask, though, if you do freshly subscribe to the podcast, please leave a rating and review. It's the only way we get any sort of play on Spotify's, the Apples, the Googles of the world, the algorithms, the machine learnings, all these things that are creating Luke Skywalker for us. They need to know we're excellent too, and the only way to let them know is if you rate or review. I shit you not. Just trust me, and give one to the bros here. Give a few stars. Give a few words. It means more than you will ever know. But if you do just like the YouTube stuff, that's okay. We don't hate you that much. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel from StarWarsTime.net. Just scroll down there, hit the subscribe button. Or if you're on YouTube, just add a /Star Wars Time Show after the com, and it will take you to the promised land. Because, my friends, as you all know, there's always time for Star Wars time. Okay? There's always time. There truly is always time for Star Wars time, even if there's literally nothing Star Wars related going on that people give a shit about. But that's why we're here. We keep you in the know with all of the nonsense that you probably didn't need to know. But I think there's a service in there somewhere. So get them, convince them, trick them, Kool-Aid them, do what you got to do. But just remind each and every Star Wars friend or family member you have out there that if they do listen to the Star Wars Time Show, the Force will be with them. Always.